Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going all right. Had an interesting evening getting we got to hang out stream with Robot Head
It was
earlier
such a kind
tonight.
of
So yeah,
secret, it was like a top secret stream. So,
yes,
yeah, that was a
it's
lot of fun.
sort of under the radar, but we still had quite a few people show up, which was nice. And yeah, fun conversation about a movie I have not been able to see yet.
It was
Which
something of,
yeah,
what was it? It was something of, like an underground stream.
yeah, yeah.
Like, nobody knew what was going on, and suddenly it
Nope,
was going on.
nobody knew it was happening, and then there it was.
Yeah, and, I agree with you, you're saying something I don't know what, Elon Musk has done with Twitter and chat, but man, this new chat
Well,
thing is
they took that chat that's been in beta for a long time, and now they've replaced messages and DMs and all that. They've replaced that with that new chat interface.
I was hoping
And
that day would never come,
man,
Professor.
oh yeah, it is rough. It is not ready for prime time. I don't know why they decided to push it out now, replace everything. I had to just to get it to work earlier today because I someone was sending me a message. I had to reload my browser 4 times, and then eventually it started working, and then it kicked me out and told me I had to put in a passcode that I don't ever remember setting up. So I had to just, like, guess at it. On the 3rd guess, I finally got it, and it let me in, but it was just like, "What is th why? Why are you doing this to me?" Honestly, the interface doesn't look too bad on mobile, but it's awful on, just awful in the browser. So, I don't hopefully they'll keep working on it, but yeah, man, is it a mess. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
So all very, very strange. Hey, Tim
yeah,
Hayes. How's it going? Any sorry Sean's yet? Not yet. We're
not
just getting
not yet.
started.
We'll get there.
We will get there for sure.
There were some sorry Sean's on the stream with with Robot Head.
Yeah, I do. Sorry Sean even got to Robot Head stream.
It's
It's fun.
everywhere now.
It's
It's
everywhere. Just
everywhere.
people just randomly say it. Don't even know the origin of it. It's
I swear
just
I'm gonna bump into somebody on the street, they're gonna say that, and I'm just going to die laughing because
one day
it's
that'll
spread
happen. One
everywhere.
day
Yes.
somebody is gonna it's gonna be the most random of situations, and then we'll know. We'll know that we did this. The funny thing is that Robot Hat didn't even care. He likes cursing, so
Yeah.
it
He's
wasn't
like, "This
even an
is
issue. But
Australia.
I'm
Curse
from
all you want."
Australia. I love cursing. So yeah, it was a fun stream. And yeah, it was what's going on today? What's
Oh,
our first
let's
topic
see.
of discussion?
Jasmine Crockett making an ass of herself. Nothing particularly new about that, but
She usually does that. I feel like there were a few different things going on at the same time. First of all, there was something I think she was talking about, like MAGA women, but then other women answered her. That's one thing. But then there was something else going on. I feel like it was from a few different directions. Do you happen to know the highlights or have something that you where did
oh
she embarrass
no,
herself most today?
this was something I heard about well after it had happened. I let's see. I looked at something earlier today. Here, maybe I can share this here. Um, okay.
So
Oh,
Robot Head isn't the Quantum Leap live stream? No, there was Robot Head, then there was the Quantum Leap live stream, then there was this one.
yes, yes. Price has been a busy boy this evening. You need to share the presentation mode there so
Oh,
we can.
sorry,
Oh,
President.
that's
Only
all
the
right.
best technology. Hold on.
That's all right. Yeah. Okay. So this was I think the original. Oh no, this was Oh, this is a different one, but we can watch this anyway.
Sure that the Department of Justice didn't have this information? And if they didn't have this information, do we know whether or not they actually deleted this information? Do we know that there was a thorough investigation? Do we know whether or not the investigation had concluded? These are all questions that we need answers to, but we can't get them when you're not cooperating. So we don't know what the DOJ has, nor what it is that the DOJ potentially was trying to do. Considering that the president right now is trying to obstruct on some very basics of let's just get a subpoena that says release all the information, I wouldn't be surprised, just like he obstructed the prosecution of one of his henchmen who took $50,000 in taxpayer dollars from undercover officers. I wouldn't be surprised if he sent a message and said, stop investigating. We're done with this. Epstein's dead. I don't want to hear anything else about it.
Do you have any evidence of that claim?
I have no idea. No, that's the whole point. I have no information. And that's why we need these files to be released, because we are looking for transparency, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent. Listen, if people decide that they want to continue to support a person who may be a pedophile himself, or a person who obviously is covering for pedophiles, that's on them. But they should know at least the devil that they have decided to pick.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff talking about this. I guess there were some emails that were released or leaked out or something like that today. There were some fascinating takes on this too, about some of these emails. In fact, the Democratic Party even posted some stuff about some of these Epstein emails that leaked, which are laughably hilarious. And by the way, I don't even want to know how much taxpayer dollars or how much of her campaign money she spent on that weave. Okay. But I'm sure it was a lot.
What I will say is this: is that and we're going to be careful here. I don't know if you know, YouTube is very. Uh, it's very important that certain words we try to avoid. I couldn't avoid the one that we just heard now, unfortunately. But
Yes.
I understand that these days they're very, very careful about words that are said, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to dance around this thing as best as I could. But what I saw is, and this I saw it yesterday, the Democrats, amidst this whole situation where we're talking about the shutdown, they released some emails supposedly from Mr. Jeffrey, and he was supposedly saying that there was quote unquote a victim that was spending time with Trump and all this stuff. The thing is, though, if you actually looked more closely at this victim he talked about, she, when she had a chance, specifically said that he wasn't doing those things. So it's a complicated situation. There's a few people that are not even alive for whatever reasons in that situation. But I will say that when that lady had a chance, she absolutely did not point the finger at Trump. So whatever it is that the claim that they're trying to make with this specific thing, I don't think it would really hold water. Beyond holding water, it also comes off as very sort of hard to believe. And I will say this is just my own personal opinion. I think we've talked about this before. I don't know who's a good person in the world, who's a bad person, and who did good and who did bad. But I know one thing. If the Democrats had something concrete, I think they would have shared it. Not now, but they would have shared it when he was running again. I mean, instead of going and trying to tailor weird lawsuits that don't make any sense, and
Oh
sort of
yeah.
and putting him in weird legal situations that were stupid and just almost unprecedented. If they had something like this and they thought it was a slam dunk and they had all the pieces of the puzzle, I think that something would have been done. And the other thing is that the way they redacted those letters, I don't know if you saw, in the way they put victim, they don't show her name, but the name is a lady that said that he wasn't, he
Yes.
didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. They tried to redact the name, but the name is known who that was. And yeah, it was someone who had openly said that Donald Trump was always treated her with kindness, and she never witnessed him involved in any kind of activity that they were trying to say. And then there was another one. Well, I guess we can get to that, or here, maybe I'll pull up another tab
I
here.
I also want to quickly say that, the automatic thing that kind of people are trying to jump to the conclusion of is that perhaps he himself did X, Y, and Z. And like I said, I have not accompanied the man for his whole life, and it's not that I know his whole life what he did or what he didn't do, but I know a few things. One, if they had anything concrete, to suggest that he did any of that, they would have used that a very long time ago. And the fact that until today nobody has gives me the impression that maybe whatever they're suggesting or implying isn't really there. The other thing is, and I've said it before, this thing being blown wide open, it puts it's not only a Trump situation uh, that has to do just with him. There's a lot of, in my opinion, world leaders that have to do with that whole thing. I think that this probably would be an international incident type of Pandora's box, and some people are like, "Well, we don't care because we. What about this and what about that?" And I can respect that. I'm just saying that when you're the leader of the free world or whatever it is, maybe you're making decisions that are not just the what about this and what about that, but you're thinking on a scale of international incidents and things like that. The only one person that we know, the only one that somehow everybody knows, was a member of the royal family.
Yep.
And to suggest that somehow the only person that was involved in all of this was only that guy, I don't think so. I think that if somebody digs deep here, that guy will probably be the tip of the iceberg into things that would be discovered. Again, I don't. I'm not in that situation. We're not in his shoes, and this is more of a national security type of situation. I think it's a bit more complicated than people would like to think. With that being said, it doesn't justify anything bad that was done to people. I'm not condoning it or saying it's good, but I'm saying that when you're a world leader on this level, you have to at least, maybe there's things that you think about that other people are not thinking about. That's
Mhm.
all I'll say.
And once again, well, the whole thing with the Epstein, oh, release the Epstein list. The Epstein list doesn't exist. There was never a client list. Never happened. Yes, there are files that talk about various different encounters. There are testimonies. There are a variety of different things that are out there, including photos, including video. Even we know these exist because various members of the court, various members who are privy to this stuff, like defense lawyers, have told us that it exists. The vast majority of it is under seal by order of the court. The government cannot release that without violating that court order. So it's this hilarious catch 22 where they're like, release these files. Okay, well, if I do, I break the rules. And if he was to, release the files, he'd be like, he broke a court order, impeach him. It's so ridiculous. Yes, eventually these things are going to come out. And the truth is that there's absolutely nothing that's in any of this stuff that is going to be actionable. If it's actionable, if it's something that can actually prove malconduct, misconduct, and put someone behind bars, then the courts have it and they're working on those cases. The rest of it is just mob justice. It's just people wanting to see names on a list and say, look, we told you that guy did whatever, when all they really have is a name on a list. So it's kind of ridiculous. This one though, today, Price, this broke my brain. Okay. Well, not my brain. I think it's the Democrats' brain that has been broken. Okay. Uh, their hatred, their absolute loathing of Donald Trump has driven them to some pretty impressive places. Defending crime, defending having, illegals, assaulting women, all sorts of things that they've, because they hate Donald Trump so much, they've been driven to defend. This one cracks me up, though. Did you see this one today, Bryce?
I'm not sure. What is it?
Okay, this is one of the emails that was sort of out in this little release or leak or whatever. I haven't quite figured out what it is. But in this email, in this released email, it says Jeffrey Epstein thought Trump was one of the worst people he knew, with, quote, not one decent cell in his body, unquote, and went on to describe Trump with a single word: dangerous. Okay. So what you're telling me is last week, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were the best of friends. And so Donald Trump was guilty of being, a member of Blue Sky. uh, and
an enjoyer of PDF files.
yeah, but an enjoyer of PDF files, sure. Because of his close, friendly relationship with Epstein. That was the story last week. The story today is Trump is dangerous and doesn't have a decent cell in his body because Jeffrey Epstein said so.
Yeah, I mean, they're very inconsistent about all
my
of it.
God. I'm sorry. Are you telling me that you now, the Democratic Party, are saying that Jeffrey Epstein is someone who has or is a good judge of character and we should listen to him about Donald Trump?
Right. I mean, there's a few things that are a problem here. One, I don't really know to take seriously what he's saying or not. The other thing is the guy, I'm not saying that he's a good guy at all, but the guy is also dead, so that also leaves a situation where you
Yes.
can't even ask him about it. I think that I can't really focus and take all of this seriously as some kind of gospel.
Yeah.
And I think that the timing of all these emails now, along with the shutdown, it's not just like it's not something that's like a coincidence. I think it's very
Oh, no,
well
no, no.
planned.
They are desperate to try and change the story because the story of the shutdown is that the Democrats kept the government shut for over 40 days and they got absolutely nothing out of it. That's the story. They did all of that and then they didn't get any of the stuff that they wanted. All they got was a promise on a vote later on about getting some kind of subsidies. And then they've also managed to get a lot of people talking about the Affordable Care Act. And if it's so affordable, why do people need to have subsidies? And so, yeah, they've completely screwed this. But yeah, they did all of that. They kept the government closed for 40 days once again because they hate Donald Trump.
There
They
was something
wanted
else.
they wanted this to mess with him, to try and destroy, what he's trying to do in the government, and it's rather hilarious. So, yeah, we
Wasn't there more videos of Crockett or something?
yes, yeah, there was another video of Crockett. I'll hop back to that real quick. Oops. Yeah. So this is the one I think that you were talking about. She does this ridiculous interview here.
Okay, a lot of the MAGA women receive gender-affirming care, such as lip fillers, breast augmentation, etc. Why do you think they are so against gender-affirming care for trans people?
You know you want to say it.
Okay, so I have this thing where, like, a MAGA woman when you see one.
1000%.
They all have a look, right?
Back,
But they lips be up to anyway. That's a whole other issue. But yeah, they don't even know because when that was brought up on the House floor, because there was a discussion about this on the House floor. They were like, "How dare you say we use?" And it's like, no, that's exactly what y'all do. Y'all just didn't realize that that's what it is. But okay,
Yeah.
Ugh, ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, a MAGA woman when you see one. Yeah, it makes fun of their lips and having lip fillers and whatever. Yeah, not all MAGA women do that. No, not all MAGA women look the same. It's absurd. It's a nasty thing to say. And of course, yeah, I mean, if I looked at her, I would definitely know exactly what side she stood on. So it's kind of pathetic, and those ridiculous leading questions like that just irritating, so irritating. Let's see, we had was there something else from today? Yeah, this is one that I like. This was responding to some of this stuff about Jasmine Crockett here.
The hog right now. And for a woman who is openly flirting with trying to run for Texas Senate seat against Senator either John Cornyn or whoever comes out of that primary, you are seeing a woman who's not spending an awful lot of time in Texas. That whole list of places she's been living high on the hog, I didn't see anything mentioning Dallas or Houston
Not been in
or
Amarillo.
Laredo or Amarillo. Right. She's all across the country making sure that she is getting taken care of, that her nails look fabulous, and that she is sounding off however she wants to.
Yeah. So I mean, Jasmine Crockett is just a. I mean, she's a laughing stock. She's a joke. She is not the. She is not the future of the Democratic Party. Very likely, she has lost her House seat in Texas, and I think there's virtually no chance that someone this dumb, someone this ridiculous is actually going to be able to fill a seat in the Senate. I mean, they'll have to run a potato against her to lose.
Did they lose her? Did she lose her seat already, or is it just happening?
Well, I think like when all the redistricting and everything is like official, like I think her because of the way that the districts have changed, I don't think that her district is gone, but I think that uh, her district has changed so much, it's virtually impossible for her to get reelected. Right.
I see.
So, but I could be wrong. I haven't actually looked at it recently, but yeah, she's such a joke. But yes, she's tried real hard to smear as she said, the MAGA women. They all, oh yeah, you can tell MAGA women 100%, and then trying to compare lip fillers to gender affirming care for people who are of a different sex. Like how that, yeah, okay, so lip fillers or Botox or any of this stuff, sure, that's the same as giving cross-sex hormones and cutting off healthy body parts. Sure. Got it, Jasmine. You're right on the money there, you crazy woman. Good grief. Oh, yeah. Yeah, seems like there was something else that I saw today,
What
but
was the lady that did you play that MAGA lady answering her? I saw something that was
oh,
on.
no, I didn't. Let's see.
Let's see if I can find that.
I've got it right here. I think this is the one you're talking about. This one right here.
Okay.
This one you were talking about.
Yeah, I think.
Like a MAGA woman when you see one. They all have a look, right?
So Jasmine Crockett says that MAGA women have a certain look. You know what? She's right. We do. We look like women of value. We look like we woke up and cared. We look like we're appreciated by our men and respected by our families. And we look confident in our own skin. We look healthy, put together, at peace with ourselves, smart, capable, and grounded because we actually know who we are. We look like the women men want to marry. We look like the women little girls want to become. So thank you, Jasmine, for finally noticing that MAGA women look like you only wish you could. Do not come for me with them 5-pack of lashes and that phony ass wig. I will. Keep it classy.
They're like a MAGA.
That phony ass wig. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. So bad looking. So terrible. Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert in women's hair stuff, so I don't like really speak on this topic.
Well, I could just tell. I mean, just having seen the different hairstyles that she's had over the last week, there's no way that's her hair.
I see.
It's absolutely it's a weave. There's no chance it's her hair.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, part of what this Crockett is doing is that she's trying to present herself as very kind of urban. Maybe more so, maybe she's doing a lot of this on purpose to create a certain image. She wants to create this kind of image of like, I'm like a sassy woman of the people or whatever it is that she's going for. I think it's kind of annoying. It's not unlike when you saw like Kamala changing her accent, or even Hillary doing this. Anywhere they go, they kind of try to speak like the locals do, thinking that it's going to appeal to them. And I feel like Crockett, maybe, I don't know if she does that all the time, but she tries to speak as though she's very urban. When I'm not sure that in her real life she actually is very urban. I think she's really making an effort to give that vibe, in hopes that maybe urban people will be like, yeah, she one of us, yo. Like, you know what I mean? That's what she's trying to go for, in colloquial terms.
Yeah, well, if you go back and you even visit some older videos, you can see her talking like totally normal. She's not, doing the, wagging her finger at people and talking like she's from the ghetto or whatever. She has both a bachelor's and a law degree. She served as a public defender for a while. She comes from, not a poor family, but not I understand, not a particularly well-to-do family either. But she is not uh, somebody who comes from the ghetto. She's not someone who comes from poverty. It's ridiculous. I mean, she was born in St. Louis and then grew up in Texas, served in Texas as a public defender. She's gotten all sorts of privileges, I guess you could say, in her life. Yeah, so it's all kind of ridiculous. She's not this poverty stricken, rose up from the ghetto kind of person. It's all an act. It's all an act.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way. But, she's doing her thing, and we'll see over time if her thing is valuable to somebody. I personally, I don't like it, but I always say this though: you can never underestimate anybody, or especially when it comes, you can never underestimate the stupidity of people. There are people out there that will vote for people that you will not believe that they'll vote for. I mean, she has like a house member or something like that. Somebody voted for her. Somebody voted for Mamdani. Somebody voted for AOC. There's people that are voting for Elon Omar. So never underestimate what the public can do. They are capable of voting different people in. It's people that I wouldn't vote in, but you never know what could happen. So as much as you say, oh well, what's she going to do, what's this guy going to do, I always keep that in mind, that you never really know what'll happen, although I myself think that she's annoying. But
Yeah.
go on. What's this?
Here you go.
In my mind, I'm thinking, I just got to Austin and I had to meet 5 people to get here. I don't know about this. So y'all don't know what white privilege looks like, but I'm gonna show you a little bit of something. It's a huge responsibility. The congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my House seat. I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do.
do.
And I was just starting to get into the rhythm of doing constituent services.
They send them to Texas, they send them to Florida, every deplorable state that we can think about. They usually coming out of y'all's think tank.
There was someone that talked to me and said, in fact, a former ambassador in the Clinton administration.
Please calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
calm
noise
down.
and then
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
He said, Jasmine, what you have to realize is that if you are really going to make change, it's not going to be in the Texas House. He said, you did a great job playing defense, but you have a chance to play offense. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
Motion to
I
strike
had no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
The management, so to speak, changes. It's not just always one party that has everything.
I did it
just
first.
voted to do
Y'all
it.
did it first, so you don't want to talk about
voted to do
it.
Order.
And he said, if you really want to make real change, you really need to consider it. Because if
Look, Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
It's 100% a performance. She's trying to
Absolutely.
be. She wants people. She wants to position herself as a woman of the people. Especially people if they're more urban. She wants to be the urban woman of the people in Congress. And listen, she does that performance pretty decently if that's the crowd that she's going for. How much does this crowd at the end make a difference? How much can she build upon this specific crowd? I don't know.
Yeah.
But she is absolutely going for urban woman of the people. It's not true. It's a sham. It's the same thing also that AOC was going for, the urban woman of the people, which was also somewhat of a sham. A lot of times when these people do the kind of urban person of the people, it turns out that they weren't so urban. Even Mamdani, that also went for like the urban immigrant of the people. He was the son of some Hollywood producer and some well off professor or something. He's not like in the slums, you know what I mean? But that's their thing. That's what they're doing now. They want to relate to, like, quote, what they consider the everyday man, and in order to do that, they're willing to pretend that there's somebody completely different than what they are. And it's annoying. It's annoying, it's not that they're not allowed to do what they do. There's just something awfully annoying about it.
Incredibly, yeah, incredibly annoying.
Like I think that at the end of the day, whether you like Trump or not, and I can certainly see why people would like him or not like him, he sort of feels like he's acting like himself. Now you can say that himself is douchey, but I still feel like whatever we're seeing, I, I feel like that's him. Some people, Bill Maher said that behind closed doors he's nicer. I don't know, but I think that he very much is Trump. I don't even if behind closed doors he's a little more toned down. I feel like he is that dude. The way he acts and behaves, whether you like it or not. And these people, they're not behaving like themselves. They're behaving like they're trying to create like a fictional character. In my opinion, of course. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
I just don't like these kind of fictional characters. Fictional characters like this personally annoy me. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's really irritating because it just feels so completely disconnected from reality. These are just these characters that get up in there and yell and scream and argue and get up in your face, and the whole point is just to make the news. The whole point is to make the highlight reel that night, right? To try and be part of the news cycle for this week, or for this 24 hours. It is. Oh, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And yeah, I get so tired of these political performances. Uh, they're just irritating.
I don't know, and you know what? It's not good performances. I don't even think that she
No,
behaves like.
no, they're not even good
I
performances.
feel
No.
like I feel like she's the Steve Buscemi version with the skateboard of like pretending that she's from an urban whatever. I guess it's okay, but I feel like whoever is really urban probably could see through her. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
would
I don't know.
imagine. Yeah. If they want to. They might not want to see through her. They might want her to be their new
Jason Webster says it
yeah.
would be better if Price were president. Just so you know, Jason, that when Mamdani ran, and I can't because I'm in Jersey and not in New York anymore. When he ran, I told you there was a part of me that my instinct said, I wish I could run now. I wish I could run as an independent, not because I want to be mayor, but just because I was annoyed that he was running. Like, if they would have elected me, I would have done it just as a duty because I preferred for him not to get elected. But I wasn't, I don't live there, so I couldn't do it. Even if I wanted to, I don't know if I could have done it. And yeah, it could be that if I try to run, people would just say that I'm a douche, which maybe is true. I don't know. I don't know what my chances would be. I mean, maybe there would be like 5 votes from the chat here, but I don't think that's enough to win the election.
Wow. Oh, let's see. What else do we have to talk about, Price, besides stinky old Jasmine Crockett here?
I'm not 100% sure. What is it that we
Let's
have?
see. Let's see. Well, there was you talking a bit about Running Man. We can get to that here. Oh, there was another thing I wanted. I happened to see this earlier today and thought this was revolting. Get it open here. Here you go. GQ 2025 Men of the Year issue.
Is that
Featuring
Cynthia Erivo?
Cynthia Erivo.
Is she a man of the year?
Apparently. I don't know. That is simply one of the ugliest creatures I've ever seen on the cover there. I don't know who this appeals to, but it sure as hell ain't me. No thanks. But yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Crazy.
2025 Men of the Year issue. Wow. Oh, okay. Let's see. What else did we have? There was a few other things I meant to mention here. Um, oh, yeah, here we go. I don't know if you saw this one today, but we have Disney Plus in their announcements today during the annual or not annual during the quarterly call. They Bob Iger was talking about having conversations about using AI with their IP to start generating new user generated content on Disney Plus. Now, I found this a little bit fascinating because the actor Zachary Levi was actually talking about this. It was earlier this year or last year. He was saying basically, yeah, this is what's going to happen. We are going to get these companies that are going to go and they're going to find these different models that are available from these, different companies. They're going to feed it full of all of their IP, decades worth of IP, and you're going to sit down and you're going to go to Disney Plus, and instead of watching something new and creative that was actually made by humans and written by humans and animated by humans, you're going to go sit down and your kid is going to go and they're going to talk into the remote or they're going to type something into a keyboard that says, I want to watch Elsa climb a tree and dance or whatever. They're going to go and type stuff in or they're going to say stuff into their microphones, and then Disney Plus is going to take all of the stuff that they know and these models and they're going to start generating all sorts of other trash, right? And none of it is going to be like genuine content. It's all just going to be regurgitated filth that's made by these AI models. And so yeah, they were talking about this at the uh earnings call. So on the fourth quarter full year 2025 earnings call, Disney CEO Bob Iger said Disney Plus is in the midst of rolling out the biggest and most significant changes from a product perspective, from a technology perspective, since we launched the service in 2019. Changes will include games, or at least a quote, a number of game-like features on Disney Plus through its agreement with Epic Games. So they're talking about putting games now in Disney Plus. There will also be generative AI short form user generated content on Disney Plus in the future.
What does that mean?
So this was what he said. So the other thing we're really excited about is that AI is going to give us the ability to provide users of Disney Plus with a much more engaged experience, including the ability for them to create user generated content and consume user generated content, mostly short form from others. So during that sales call today, I keep saying sales call, during the earnings call today, they were talking about this. And it's basically exactly what Zach Levi said on a podcast. I think it was earlier this year. It may have been last year, but it was earlier this year, saying that yeah, what they're going to do is these studios are going to take all the IP that they've had for decades. They're going to take all of that. They're going to squeeze it into these different models, and then they're going to let their users squirt out all sorts of regurgitated garbage content that they generate using these AI models. And so essentially they're just saying exactly that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let you go into Disney Plus and generate content based on our IP.
So
This
that means that
sounds
we'll be like a
awful.
Star Wars, but I'll be Luke Skywalker? Is that
Yeah,
like the
you
idea?
can be Luke Skywalker, or you can be in the movie with Luke Skywalker, and you can go and you can defeat Ben Solo, and whatever. You can change things and add, move things around, whatever.
Ben Solo
It's
was defeated by a kiss.
yes,
I don't
and
wanna defeat him. I
it
would want nothing to do with
to
that, Professor.
defeat. Well, you could change the story price. You could have him
Can I fix
d
The Last Jedi, make it not a piece of shit? Because I don't think they're gonna let me do that. They're
as
just
long
gonna
as
do
it's
like a
only
short
10
form.
seconds long. As long as the version you make is only 10 seconds long. So, yeah, it says a bit later, Iger said Disney had productive conversations with unnamed AI companies, that he hoped the studio giant could reach an agreement that would also reflect our need to protect our IP. So, yeah, they're finding ways to start integrating AI uh, into Disney Plus, but I guarantee you this. There is no way that this is only limited to Disney Plus. They are having conversations with these different companies. It's not just about user generated content, it's about them being able to use these models to generate their own content, to generate Frozen 3 or Toy Story 7 and 9 and 14, whatever, without ever having to hire another actor, without ever having to pay another animator. They're just going to take the content they have and they're going to use AI to generate all sorts of new, just regurgitated garbage. Yeah, it's awful. Absolutely awful. Their Q4 results were pretty terrible. They did say that they got a little bit more in subscribers, but again, now that they've integrated Hulu into Disney Plus, like you can't really, you know, they don't separate those two. So if they were to take those two back apart, Disney Plus would still look like a massive failure.
Yeah, they've been doing. Disney is a company that at some point it was making money, and at some other point they just decided they keep moving things around, doing all these weird maneuvers like let's bundle this and make people pay an extra $2. It's the same idea that, like I told you once, that Bob Iger was boasting to his investors that he saw that like there was less people in the park, so he raised the price of drinks or something like that, and he made back his money. It just feels like you're Disney. That's not a company that I would think would need to resort to those kind of tactics to make money. You trying to stay afloat by charging a few extra dollars here and a few extra dollars there, rather than providing some good new ideas, new creative ideas. I think that's the problem. Everything is just some kind of maneuver now. They don't come up with anything new. They don't create anything worthwhile. Rehashing old IPs, more sequels to crap. Toy Story 5. Who even needed Toy Story 5? They're just churning out
No.
anything at this point.
Yeah, it's all just regurgitated garbage, no matter if it's coming from AI or it's coming from the writers. We do have a super chat over on YouTube from our friend Istophobos.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. That's interesting. I think Istophobos usually is on does the Rumble rant, but I guess this time he went there. Let me
He's been having trouble making the Rumble rants work. He was saying something the other day on a different stream.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But Istophobos, he said this. Oh wait, give me 1 second, Ista. I'm gonna do the thing where I highlight. See, over time, Professor, we've developed a flow.
Yes,
And we make use of the best technology.
Yes, we do.
That streaming has to offer. That's one thing that I can say about this show, that the technology here is some of the best you can currently find on the internet. In my opinion, at least.
Well, yeah.
And now Istophobos for $2. Super chat on YouTube. AI is the cover band of creativity, straight up. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep.
At least cover bands, they're at least trying. There's some musicians there trying to make it work.
Yeah.
I think that I respect cover bands more than AI. AI is really annoying. And what's a big concern is that the more AI, I know you said that there's it'll plateau at some point, but it can get better and better when it comes to doing voices and showing people's likeness and things like that. There are videos that I'm sure we watch now that have that kind of bullshit, sorry, Sean, narrator. And it does get better. It's better than what it used to be. Same with the music. It's all better than it used to be. Like, it kind of makes me sad that some of these things actually sound halfway normal. With the music especially, but there's narrators that, maybe you can tell now because there's something that kind of doesn't has kind of soulless. It doesn't have the right character in certain words, but it's getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. You could definitely tell in some of the videos that are being generated, the voices. It's getting much more accurate. It's getting much better. They're tuning it, they're tweaking it, they're figuring out what things they can do to make those work a little bit better. And yeah, it is improving. And I'm not saying that that these things aren't going to improve. They are going to continue to improve. But this huge sort of explosion that we've had over these last couple of years, that's going to come to a standstill pretty soon, right? Well, not a standstill, but it's going to plateau off, and the improvements are going to be very incremental moving forward in what they're able to do. They're simply running into right now the trouble of they just need more and more and more compute power to make these systems work better, and they simply can't afford it. They don't have the computers, and they can't afford all the energy. They can't even get all the energy. They don't have a way to generate that much power to run all of these systems. So yeah, it's just kind of hitting a point where they're just not going to be able to make this continue to improve at the same level that they have in recent years. Not to say there won't be innovations. There will. There's going to be new stuff, but it's not going to be like we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the super chat, Phobos. Good to see you.
I did. There was something that I wanted to bring up. There was something with Ruby Rose and Sydney Sweeney. Did you see that today?
I did, and I was looking around through some of the different trades and stuff trying to find an original story about it, and I haven't found anything. Um, let's see. I'm sure there's something on X somewhere. Ugh. I know that there was the thing with Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney. Did we talk about that on Tuesday?
Well, that was like a rumor, but this one wasn't a
Yeah.
rumor because this lady actually said something.
Yeah. Let's see. I saw. Yeah, Ruby Rose, have such a great career herself.
She's the person. She's the person that was in one season of Batwoman, and
Yeah.
then she bailed on Batwoman. And apparently, even Batwoman, they thought she was difficult to work with. Maybe it was her fault. Maybe it wasn't. I think she was injured. I don't really even remember now. But it's not like this lady had a lot of stuff. Istafobos says the Zendaya rumor was debunked. That makes sense. This lady, I think, did say something about her for real, but I think it just seemed like bitter jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Here's
did you find
a
it?
Variety story. Yeah, I've got something from Variety here. There we go. So Ruby Rose, yeah, there's the two of them, right? Ruby Rose slams Sydney Sweeney over Christie movie. You ruined the film, period. Christie deserved better. The original Christy Martin script was incredible, life-changing, Rose wrote on Threads. I was attached to play Cherry. Everyone had experience with the core material. Most of us were actually gay, because that's important, apparently. It's part of why I stayed in acting. Losing roles happens all the time. For her PR to talk about it flopping and saying Sydney did it for the people, none of the people want to see someone who hates them parading around pretending to be us. You're a cretin and you ruined the film, period. Christy deserved better. So her whole argument here is she was playing a character, or not, playing a real life person who is gay. And so only someone who is gay should have been allowed to play her.
Well, I think that they gave her role to Katie O'Brien, if I understand correctly. So if they gave it to Katie O'Brien or to somebody else that was gay, I don't think that she's right. I think she's basically whining that they took the role that she had and gave it to somebody else. But I'll tell you what I think happened, and this is without me reading all of her nonsense and crap. I think that there was initially, sometimes you have a movie that, it's in development, people want to make it, it kind of fizzles out, options run out, and then it kind of lays on a shelf, whereas after a few years, suddenly a new group of people try to pick it up and run with it. From what I understand, it's not a situation that somebody like Sweeney or anybody that she's involved with went to Ruby Rose and said, "We don't want you here anymore. Get out." Like, that didn't happen. I think that what happened was there was just a new team of people, and it didn't work anymore. I'm going to tell you this. I shouldn't tell you this. Let me see how I can dance around this. I was once involved in a situation where there was a movie, and somebody that I had worked with, and I can't say more, potentially had a role in this movie. But something like this happened. Directors changed, certain things in the production changed, and overnight, uh, not only did they replace this person, not only did they basically delete him from being in the movie, they didn't even bother telling anybody they did that. That's how much a regime change can matter when a different set of people come in. I personally thought that that was handled very poorly in the situation that I saw, like firsthand. Not firsthand to me, but something that I witnessed in some capacity. And I'll just say it's a very cruel business. So she has sour grapes because I guess initially they wanted. What role was she supposed to play?
Well, she was supposed to play Cherry, but what she's saying is that I think what she's trying to say is that Sydney Sweeney playing the role of Christy. Christy is a well-known lesbian, so she's saying that it should have been a lesbian who was playing Christy, and that Sydney Sweeney, who is someone who is known to have conservative leanings, is someone that clearly must hate gay people. So she was the wrong person for that role.
Uh,
That's what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that Sydney Sweeney hates gay people and should not have been allowed to play a gay person in this film. And that's how she ruined the film.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to find out who is Cherry in this whole story.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the film, so I don't know which character
I'm
Cherry is.
trying to see for a second.
Uh,
Hold on one second. I think she meant somebody else. I don't even think there's a Cherry in this movie.
mm,
Okay, give me 1 second. I have to. This is going to annoy me until I can figure out what the deal is. So let me. Oh, okay, okay. I got it now. First of all, in the movie, the way it was at the end, they don't call the character Cherry. Like they don't. They changed it because here's what happened in real life. Christy Martin had a childhood friend that was a woman called Cherry that
mhm.
later she connected with later in life. This caused problems that almost led to her demise. I can't really explain more about it. In any case, this character in the movie, I guess for whatever reasons, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's other reasons, they changed her name. So she wasn't even called Cherry in the movie. She was called something else. I'll tell you right now. She was called Rosie.
Ah,
Maybe she's annoyed because Ruby Rose, they called her Rosie.
mhm,
Maybe somebody was like, hey, let's call her Rosie. Maybe because originally Ruby Rose was the actress, they called her Rosie. Are you with me, Professor?
mhm. Got it.
Do you get how strange that is that she's Ruby Rose and they called her Rosie, but her
Yep.
real name was Cherry? So maybe that's part of the sour grapes. I don't know. In any case, I'm trying to think if the actress that played her. Let me see who played Rosie in the movie. Jess Gabor. Here it says Jess Gabor based on Sherry Lusk. So who's Jess Gabor? I know this is a deep dive, Professor, and nobody knows
Mhm.
why I'm doing this. I just want to know if Jess Gabor is uh is like a LG type of person.
I couldn't tell you.
Let's see. I don't really know. In any case, let's put it this way. Either she is really an LG person, this Jessica Bohr, or she's not. But whatever issues this lady has, she has sour grapes that they actually cast another woman in a role. It's not even that Sydney Sweeney took the role from her. And I think that she's just behaving very unprofessionally.
Mhm.
This is considered very unprofessional behavior, and the fact that she's like, "Oh, she hates us, she's a cretin, she hates us." Lady, shut up. This is the type of movie that if you don't have an actress that a few people know, it doesn't even get made. The one thing that I will say, even though this is a small company that didn't have a lot of marketing and it's a smaller indie movie, I will say that a lot of people that see Sydney Sweeney that like her or whatever it is, when she has a movie, it's not bad to go see her movie. I mean, we should be wanting to strengthen actors like this that are going against this Hollywood bullshit. And when she releases a movie, usually people don't go to see them. And I think the only thing I can say is at least I go see them. Usually, when there's one viewer, that viewer is me. Now, on the other hand, and I've said this before on I think on another stream recently, is that I think that Sydney Sweeney has been choosing roles that are more artsy and not necessarily the kind that cash in on her looks. Like there was a movie with Glenn Powell called Anyone But You. The budget on that was like $20 million and it made $200 million worldwide at the box office. Because if you look at the poster, have you seen the poster for Anyone But You?
No, I don't think so.
So let me show you the poster for Anyone But You. Okay, are you ready to see the poster?
Yeah.
Showing it to you now. So in this poster, she's like, you know, she
Mhm.
looks like more playful. You know what I'm saying? So when this movie came out, it actually made money, made a lot of money. But when she does this kind of Christie thing, let's look, for example, at Christie. So I know this sounds terrible, and you're going to say that I'm an istinophobe or whatever you want to call me. And I accept that. But what I'm trying to say is, I went to these movies, so you can't call me an istinophobe. I am a
Mhm.
wonderful, wonderful person. I'm the most wonderful person in the world. I went to see this movie. I went to see Eden, which she was in, and I went to see Americana. There have been three movies, sort of indie type of movies with Sydney Sweeney this year. I saw all three of them, so you can't complain to me. But what I'll say is that I guess your average Joe, this kind of poster doesn't really do it for them, whereas the other one that I showed you, it seemed to capture their attention more, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
See, men apparently seem to like this more. Now, some will probably say, hey, does that mean that you don't think that Sydney Sweeney can do, you know, Sydney Sweeney can do serious roles? I'm not saying that, but look at Tom Cruise, for example. He started off Risky Business, Cocktail, all this whatever crap, and but he ventured off. He started doing stuff with like legitimate stars, doing Rain Man, doing like The Color of Money. Then he starts moving on to more serious. He went like Born on the 4th of July. He also knew how to do these kind of big blockbusters. He knew how to navigate between doing some movies that were more kind of box office fun or box office crowd pleasers
Mhm.
with movies that were a little more quality. And I think that an actor has to find that balance. With Sydney Sweeney, it feels like she made one movie that made a lot of money at the box office, capitalizing on her looks, and all of her other movies, especially the ones that came out this year, very, very, very niche. Uh, I still think that people should be more open to watching, I don't really know how to explain it to you, but we're always all online, like, talking about it. Oh, why are they talking badly to her? Why are the media disrespecting her? Why this and why that? But if at the end she's a failure at the box office in every movie she does, then you know what? They win. They win and we don't, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying people should suffer through bad movies. I hope that Sydney Sweeney starts choosing movies that can sort of bring the type of people that want to see the kind of movies that she could be in. It doesn't mean she has to be in a bikini in every movie, but you know what? Being more playful and fun and cashing in on the fact that people like her and her personality and her vibe and, whatever it is, I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's what she should be doing. If I were her manager, that's what I would tell her now. I would tell her, stop all this stuff. The Academy isn't going to give you awards. You can make yourself like all like, try to make yourself look bad in movies and be all like, do these kind of art house things for $5. Nobody cares. Like you start doing movies that are more crowd pleasers, that are appealing to a certain crowd, build that up. That's what I would tell her. If she's listening to this stream, which I'm sure she's not, that's what I think she should do. Because she knows very well, if you look at the type of Baskin Robbins and whatever she does and the American Eagle, she knows what it is that she has that's selling to people. But somehow, instead of using that thing that the goods that she knows are people want to pay money for, she's like, why don't I do an art house thing? And nobody's going to reward her for it. She's not going to be
Yeah.
Elizabeth Quinn says Zeitgeist just not there for Liz abuse movies. Yeah, I mean, sadly, I will say that she actually gave a good performance in the movie. I thought she was really, you could tell she took it very seriously. I don't think anybody can fault her. I think Ruby Rose is an idiot. I don't think Ruby Rose is such a good actress to begin with.
No.
And there is nothing, at least judging on Batwoman, there is nothing for me to say that's so great about her acting. Like I've never looked at Ruby Rose and thought, man, this is like the next big thing. So have really nothing to say. Now I will tell you this: when I saw the movie, if you tell me now that the actress that that played Rosie or Sherry or whatever you want to call her, if you would have recast her and replaced her with Ruby Rose, probably could have done it. I can see why, I can see how there's a similarity between the actress that they chose and Ruby Rose. So, interestingly, they did go with somebody that kind of gives a similar vibe, I guess. I can understand why she'd be annoyed, but I think that's more of a production level situation. I don't think that's a situation she should be annoyed with Sydney Sweeney. I don't think Sydney Sweeney is the one that sat there and said, I hate Ruby Rose. Like, I don't think it happened that way.
No.
Sometimes things change. Just so you know, the Barbie movie initially had different people in charge of it. It's another one of those situations. Lasted for a few years. They tried to do something, didn't work, kind of reshelved, and then re-given to a different team of people. Initially, when they did Barbie, the first person that they cast as Barbie was Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer was supposed to be Barbie in the Barbie movie. This went on for a few years. They tried different ideas thinking that Amy Schumer would be Barbie. And then they kind of looked, they reached some kind of impasse, they put it on a shelf, and then somebody got up one day and said, hey, instead of Amy Schumer, why don't we call Margot Robbie? And then they all said, like, wow, that's the best idea anybody thought of in this whole fucking place. Sorry, Sean. And they call Margot Robbie, and he's like, do you want to be Barbie? And she's like, do I? That's my life dream. And that's it. And the rest was history. Imagine doing Barbie with Amy Schumer. Imagine. That's just... I can't believe that somebody sat there. Whoever said, let's do Barbie with Amy Schumer should be fired. I don't know, maybe fired not only from the job that they were doing then, maybe from future jobs. You know how in soccer you get like a red card for a penalty? Like, not for a penalty. You get a red card for like, doing something bad, like a
like
terrible foul or whatever.
flagrant
It's
foul.
flagrant foul. Yeah. You get a red card. You have to exit. You can't come back. And usually they're also like, you can't come back in the next game. And depending how bad the foul is, you can't come back for like 3 games now. Sometimes they have stuff like that. I think that this should be a situation. Whoever said, Barbie, let's cast Amy Schumer, has to get a red card. I want to be the referee that walks in, give the person the red card, and like then a few years, I think that person has to sit out. Can't be on the field for a few years.
Well, to reference a really old redneck comedian bit, here's your sign.
Here's your what?
Here's your sign. You remember this? He was talking about people being stupid and giving people their sign that lets them show everyone else that they're stupid. And so the running gag was, here's your, people be stupid. He'd say, here's your sign. Give them, to show off how stupid they were.
Zenergy said, I'm so sick of hearing about Sydney Sweeney. Listen, right now, she's sort of the only person in this kind of pop culture setup that doesn't like getting pushed around.
Yeah.
If she could just make movies that people, that would be her more built-in crowd would like, I think that she could build herself a really nice following and have a lot of, do something positive. I think it's annoying, all the people, the way they behave in Hollywood. The fact that she sort of is going against that is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't wish her failure, because I wish that there were more people like her. I wish that more women would say, I've had enough of this weird shit. I'm not, you're not going to push me around. And seeing her with that reporter that was trying to pressure her to say all this stuff and she wouldn't have it, that's the kind of attitude that I like. I genuinely like that attitude. So, like I said, she has to find the right movies to make, and maybe these indie art houses weirdo things are not the right ones. But if she can find the right path, there's something that she can do. I would be a fantastic manager. She should call me and appoint me to be her manager if she's listening to this stream, of course.
Price won't even take 10%. He'll take 9.5%. That's a
I
half
think
percent.
10%
You
is
could
fair.
still.
First of all, some managers would take 20%, but you know what? I'm gonna take 10%. I'm totally cool with that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I can even give her a bigger deal than that.
Yeah.
There's certainly room for negotiation here.
Yeah.
Sydney, if you're listening. Let me see. Must be why Amy Schumer did Ozempic. Maybe she'll live live action Cabbage Patch Doll movie. She does kind of look like a Cabbage Patch
The
Doll,
live
I'll be
action
honest with you.
Cabbage Patch Doll. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's so funny. We have all of these people, these women in Hollywood who've been trying to tell us that, oh, you should just love yourself for who you are, and being fat is okay. You say, hey, you can still be fat and healthy and all this different stuff, trying to tell us, oh, body positivity, all of this stuff. And then, well, guess what? Now there's a magic drug that can make them skinny again, and they're all over it.
Phantom Monk Singh, is that the Running Man guy? Yes, it is. He was
Yes,
also
it
in
is.
Top Gun Maverick. He was in The Running Man, and he was in Twisters. So, yeah, I mean, this was a movie that was also marketed well. You saw that, like in the. It's not that rom-coms are my favorite, and I'll tell you the truth. I saw this movie on some plane, or I don't know where. It's not my favorite movie either, but I will say this: they had good chemistry. Glenn Powell and her on screen.
Mhm.
They had some parts where they were playful, where they're sort of kind of skewering each other, and I thought that this movie did a few things correctly. Ultimately, I'm a dude, so this kind of rom-com bullshit is not really my thing to begin with, but as far as these type of stupid movies goes, and watching it on a plane, it was somewhat tolerable. Not really my cup of tea, but again, in this case, I'm the odd man out here. This movie, like I said, they invested like $20 million and made like $200 million. That's considered good business.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, we
so
need more movies made for that budget.
Right, that should be the model in Hollywood. Now, to be fair, those other movies that she made, Americana, can't really blame her for that failure. I know that also the media, they love cheering on the failures. Americana basically was a movie that, first of all, it was an ensemble cast. The other thing is, it was a movie that only cost, in my opinion, a few $1 million to make. It was already filmed like I think 2 years ago or something, and there was some kind of problem that the indie company that had $5 to produce it, they filed for bankruptcy. And if I remember vaguely, there was some other issues, bigger issues with the money and with the thing. There was serious issues with that company. It was like falling apart. So they somehow managed to get some distributor to pick it up and release it. Now, whoever released it at the end, it wasn't even like a big studio. It was some like 2-bit thing that released it. So when the Americana movie came out, you could only see it in a handful of theaters. Let's say if a wide release is like 4,000, I think that this thing was playing in like 600 theaters. It's not nothing, but it wasn't something that like all the theaters in the world had it. I said that I wanted to see it because I was curious about it, and I actually had to drive a certain distance in order to get there. I went to a theater that I usually don't go to. Do you get what I'm saying? I had to
Yeah.
go out of my way to see this movie, and even in the theater that I went there, it didn't have a lot of screenings. Like I had to go to at a certain hour, at a certain day, at a certain place. Even the place that were showing it, it was very kind of minimal. So to come out later and be like, "Oh, this like indie movie that cost $5, she didn't make like a gazillion dollars." Yeah, it wasn't playing like a really wide release. Americana one, but they were all celebrating because they hate her. So they would all. It was right after that like American Eagle thing. They're all writing the articles. She's such a failure. She's such a failure. Yeah, I think that in that case, ensemble cast movie from a studio that like went bankrupt and limited release. Really don't think that that's the place you can blame her. Next, you had the movie Eden. Now, Eden was a Ron Howard movie. Again, ensemble cast. Are you with me, Professor?
Yep.
Eden was another one. It was an ensemble cast, and it had Jude Law, it had Vanessa Kirby, who was in Fantastic Four as Sue Storm, who I didn't like in that role. She was there, and it had Ana de Armas. So basically, Sydney Sweeney, it wasn't like a Sydney Sweeney movie. Do you get what I'm saying? I even would say that when Ron Howard made that movie, he didn't think that Sydney Sweeney was his biggest star. I think that he was thinking that Jude Law is probably the biggest star in the movie. Uh, I don't know. Maybe Vanessa Kirby, in his eyes, was considered the number 2 star. Or sorry, Ana de Armas, maybe the second star. Then Vanessa Kirby, then Sydney Sweeney. So the movie wasn't relying on her. I will also say that I saw that Ron Howard movie. It is not the worst movie I've seen. I don't know how much money was invested in it. I think that perhaps it was a movie that couldn't really find an audience because it was such a niche story. Again, I don't know if you know anything about that Eden movie. It's about, I think I told you about it here on this stream when I covered it because I saw a screening of it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a situation where Jude Law and those other people that I mentioned, they play immigrants that came from Europe, but they're in South America on some island, and things get very kind of dark and grim there. It's a period piece. It's a very, very niche movie, and man, I don't think Ron Howard did the worst job, but I think that the movie is a tough sell. In our day and age, maybe that would have been a movie that you would do direct to streaming. I don't think that this is a movie that you can release to theater and tell people, hey, do you want to see like a bunch of people on an island in like 1918 that speak with like supposedly European accent, only they're American, some are British, and they're pretending to be German on an island with like Latin American people? No, I don't think anybody would go for this. Do you get what I'm saying? It was a tough sell. And with all of that being said, it's not the worst movie, but it was a tough sell.
Yeah. And it was, that was when I remember us talking about it. Cause it was based on a true story of these people that went and tried to start a new society out on an island somewhere. And then it ended up that like their 2 leaders were like killing the other people off because they didn't like them. And all sorts of weird stuff was going on. Yeah. It was messed up.
It's sort of like a Lord of the Flies type of situation with some weirdos on an island. It's not the worst movie. It feels like it was very much this kind of vanity project for Ron Howard. I don't know why he saw this and thought this is like a huge release that everybody's going to see. It was a very niche, almost direct to streaming type of movie. And within all of that, I'll say that Sydney Sweeney was fine in it. When all the articles keep saying about failing, I didn't see anybody write Vanessa Kirby failed everybody. I didn't see anybody write Jude Law fails again. I didn't see people say, how dare Ana Armas fail this movie? Basically, the 4th fiddle actress in the movie, which in my opinion was Sydney Sweeney, they somehow pin the failure on her. So when they keep mentioning in the articles that she fails all the time, they're talking about Americana. Like I said, studio fell apart, barely limited release. The other one is like a movie where she's the 4th fiddle in a movie that failed, but I don't think that she's the reason it failed. Now, Christie, that's one that I think that, that's one that I think that perhaps they can pin on her as a failure more. Perhaps LG boxer with abuse or whatever wasn't catering to the type of people that may enjoy Sydney Sweeney in movies.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe he was relying on the cast for the audience. Maybe he was, but you know what? I think that I think that he miscalculated. Sometimes, I guess this is going to sound terrible, and I have no nice way of saying this. I think some of these directors, as they get older, they're making a movie, but they're not 100% in tune to maybe what audiences are looking for. Even if their movie is decent, Eden is not a terrible movie. I saw it and I thought it was decent, but I also, when I saw it, I thought to myself, this is a tough sell. It didn't even have strong marketing. I barely remember any marketing for it. I feel like people didn't know what it was, didn't know why they were going for it. If maybe he would have presented it more as a horror movie or more of a thriller and really played into that in the marketing and more marketing around it, maybe it could have done better. At the end of the day, did you ever even, if I wouldn't have told you about Eden, would you have ever even noticed that that movie existed?
I probably would not know that it had ever even been released. No, it was completely off my radar. I remember when we were talking about it, I'm like, it's called what? It's, I have no
So yeah.
idea.
So yeah, that's what I have to say about it. I mean, it is something, and maybe somebody was saying in the chat that maybe he thought that the cast would help him. Listen, they had in there Sydney Sweeney and Ana de Armas. Imagine, between you and me, Professor, and I'm going to be a bit of an asshole now. If I'm making a movie and my cast is Sydney Sweeney and Ana de Armas, I'm making fun movie where these two women are hot throughout the movie. I don't give a shit. They could be two enemies plotting to destroy each other throughout the movie over some stupid shit, and every scene have them walk out looking like, $1 million, even more than $1 million, super hot like every scene, and do a trailer where you see these ladies, they're like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they look super hot. All the posters, you see them looking super hot. I think that you probably have more people going to see it than Eden. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You could have made a very low, you want to do like low budget, whatever, put those two ladies in a movie. I also tend to think that maybe because of like Vanessa Kirby being in Fantastic Four, maybe they thought, oh, she's happening now. They thought that this would also, maybe they thought something. And the Fantastic Four really, I don't think she was great in it, and I don't think really did anything for her. So that was misguided. Jude Law is a good actor, but I guess it just wasn't strong enough to pull people in. I don't think they could have put any other actors in it and it would have made much of a difference. It's not that I think, oh, if they would have put this guy in. You know what? I take that back. There's one actor that they could have put in there, which he's not fit for the movie and he's not in the right age to be in it. But there's one actor that they could have put in the movie that would have made the movie possibly more high profile. I hate to say this. I'm nauseous now, Professor. I'm nauseous that I have to say this, but Timothy Chalamet. I don't like his acting, and I don't think much of him. But I know at least there's women that when they hear Timothy Chalamet, even if it's a shitty movie, sorry, Sean, they'll go see it.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that is.
I was just kind of looking at the chat, seeing who we got here, see if there's anything
interesting going on with the chat.
Anything going on? Yeah. David Costin had a question for us. Been a while back, but wondering if thinking about the future of movies, do you think actors are ever going to take pay cuts, massive pay cuts, to slash movie budgets? I don't think the actors are the biggest problem, but I think eventually they will have to take pay cuts because they're going to be up against a lot of other people. It's going to be them taking a pay cut or being replaced with AI. So they're going to have to take a pay cut.
Elizabeth Quinstone's maintained forever that directors get too big, no one will say no. Example, Spielberg allowed Liam to overact in Schindler's List. Somebody should have stopped Spielberg. You know what? He walked away with the director, and I think Liam Neeson walked away with an Oscar. They probably, until this, they wouldn't change one thing about their acting.
No, I don't think they would either.
I feel like they today like meet up from time to time and like, have a bourbon together and look at their awards. I don't think they care about any of that. They wouldn't change a thing. They would do the exact same thing. I thought that Liam Neeson was great in Darkman. Darkman was a good movie. I enjoyed Darkman.
Oh, that was a solid sort of pulp action.
It was like a great B movie.
Yeah.
It was
really,
a great,
really
like
good
exactly like a top tier B movie, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah, that was one that was really kind of a sleeper hit when when I was younger. I didn't see it at the movie theater, most certainly, but then I had friends say, "Man, have you seen Darkman? So good!" And then we go rent it at Blockbuster and checked it out. Yeah, great film. Real fun for like you said, for a B movie. Does a lot, works really well, and Liam Neeson puts on a really good performance too.
I think he's great, and it has Frances McDermott in it. Like I actually really good performances there.
Yeah, it started to fall apart after the second one, but
for sure.
What was the third one? Die, Dark Man, Die. I think was the name of the third one.
You know, I'm telling you that I'm not even sure I ever watched any of the other ones. I think I only watched the first one. Maybe I tried to watch the second one, but then didn't they bring back the bad guy from the first one or something weird? How did they bring back the bad guy from the first one? I don't remember.
Uh, I honestly don't remember. I barely even remember the first one. It's been so
First one is
long since I've
solid.
seen
First one
that.
is top
It's
tier.
good. I would definitely watch it again. It's just one
I
that
need to
like I have not
revisit the
seen in a
original
really long
Darkman.
time. Um, yeah, that
Yeah, they bring him back. I knew it. They bring back the guy from the first one, and it doesn't even make sense that they bring him back. But yeah.
yeah.
So, Professor, where were we? How did we
Uh
get here?
we've just been all over the place. Talking about what's going on in the chat, talking about different stories, talking about AI, Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, lots of stuff, kind of all over the place. Let's see. Yeah,
Yes,
we got to talk about Sydney Sweeney because we were talking about the Ruby Rose, accusing her of ruining that movie. So
yeah, Ruby Rose. I have nothing to say about her. Somebody said
I,
here in the chat that she's hot. I don't know. She's not really hot in my opinion. I've
yeah,
never really liked her.
yeah, she's
Not
not.
really my cup of tea. And Batwoman was a stupid show.
It
It's
was
not like she was
extremely stupid.
especially
I've seen 2 episodes of that show. One of the worst things I've ever watched. I couldn't believe I even wasted my
unwatchable.
time.
I
Yeah.
watched it because I knew it would be funny, and I think I watched one episode with Ruby Rose, and then when they brought the other actress in, I can't remember her name. I think I watched one episode with the other actress, and both cases, whether it's this actress or that
Oh,
actress, were laughably bad. It
yeah.
was such a laughably bad show. I think that like eventually one day when people look back at like you want to call it the woke era or whatever it is, they're going to look at Batwoman, and that's going to be like that's going to be cult for how bad it is. It's going to be like there will be people watching it just to see how terrible it's a joke.
Mhm.
But that is the bad guy in Darkman. There was Benny, the mentally challenged law clerk in LA Law. Which was
Mhm.
interesting because he was so different in the role in Darkman than he is on that show. I never would have thought to cast him because he's so much the way he was in L.A. Law. But you know what? Maybe he was an actor that was typecast because of that L.A. Law thing. He plays a completely different vibe in Darkman, and I actually think he's quite good. So I don't have any issue with him.
Yeah. And that was a great early Sam Raimi picture when he was really developing out his style and everything for that first movie. But yeah, the bad guy was the bad guy Durant? Was that the bad guy?
I think that's his name. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good film. Now
I
I'm gonna have to watch this weekend, Price. I'm gonna
You should watch it. It's a good
you
movie.
have
I
to go
haven't
back and
seen it in
watch
a
it
while
again.
myself. I
It's
haven't
really
seen it in
good.
a while myself. I'm gonna watch it too, maybe.
See where it's available. Yeah.
I will.
Streaming on Peacock. Well, I'm not subscribing to that, but I'm
Well,
sure I'm
you'll
sure I
find.
can find it somewhere, you know.
I feel like Johnny Depp may be able to assist you with that.
Yeah, maybe. Might be. Yeah.
I heard that Johnny Depp is traveling to India
Yes,
soon.
he knows a bit about sailing the high seas.
He is sailing to India to watch movies. That's what I heard about Johnny Depp. Last I heard of him. Uh,
Yep.
in
Well,
any case,
one movie that's not available on the high seas, as far as I know, is The Running Man.
I did see The Running Man, so I guess we were on a stream, another one to talk about it today. I will give my thoughts about it on this stream as well. Uh, yeah, I saw The Running Man. The Running Man was a movie that for a while I was kind of looking forward to because in recent years there's that movie Baby Driver. I really liked that movie when it came out. Now I know that some people may not like Kevin Spacey who plays a role there, But you know what? I know that in reality, maybe he's a questionable character, whatever you want to call it. But I'll be darned if that guy can't act. And I thought that Kevin Spacey was good in that movie. It's an ensemble cast. You also have like John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, an actor that I like a lot. You have what's his name? Shoot, why can't I remember the guy? Anson, not Anson. What the fuck is his name? Sorry, Sean.
Which character?
The main guy. What's his name? It's an actor that he was also canceled. Basically, all the people in that movie were like canceled 5 minutes after it came out. But
okay.
Anson, not Anton. Anson. Fuck.
Anson Mount?
No, that's
'cause
not
he's
him. No,
he's
that's not
been
him.
canceled.
Why can't I remember this jerk off's name? Sorry, why did I call him a jerk off? Baby Driver. Ansel Elgort.
Ansel Elgort. Okay.
I was so close. Give me credit that I knew the general director.
You got the first two letters. I mean, that's something.
Ansel, Anson, whatever. It was close enough, Professor. I knew it was like a weird name. It wasn't something that that everybody is called that. Confused him and that other guy with the guy that plays the phony Christopher Pike. But in any case, this Ansel Elgort, whatever his name is, basically, this movie, it came out, and initially I don't think there was a problem, not with Spacey or with him. Then there was like, once the Me Too thing came out, then Kevin Spacey had his issues. Although, again, I know this is going to sound bad because I don't have any info and I haven't really looked into it, and it's not really a subject that interests me much. But I will say that from what I understand, Spacey has never been convicted of anything. I don't know what that means. All I know is that if they wanted to convict him of something, from what I can tell, they've never convicted him of anything. Now, I don't know if that means he's a good or bad person. Maybe he's a bad person. I just know that there's nothing that he did that caused him to get into any significant trouble, aside from the fact that he was canceled. Just putting that out there. It doesn't exonerate him. I really have no idea. It's possible that he's not a good person and all that stuff. Just saying that as far as I know, nothing has happened with that. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
But in any case, so he was canceled. And then you had Ansel Elgort. Ansel Elgort's cancellation was very strange. Do you remember that cancellation?
No, I don't.
So basically, a woman goes online that has an account that like doesn't even have a real name or anything or whatever. She starts writing tweets that when she was 17, she went out with Ansel Elgort, who was 19 years old, and they were together, but he did this and he did that, and she's saying all airing all this dirty laundry. Now, when she wrote that, at the time, he was already probably like 23, 24. So people are like, oh no, he's like taking advantage of a 17-year-old girl. Now, the only thing that I'll say is that when you're 19, you're allowed to date a 17-year-old, meaning he didn't do anything at the time that was illegal. And whether or not he was a jerk or an asshole is sort of a subjective thing. That's another thing. And the final thing I'll say is, it was a woman that had like an unverified account that you don't know who she is, making a bunch of claims. Everybody was retweeting it, treating it as if like, this is like fact. I personally, when I saw it, I think I said something along the lines of, if this woman feels that this is real and this all happened, why doesn't she go to the police station or something like that? And then at the end of the day, suddenly her account disappears and all her tweets disappear. So it was an unverified account saying unverified things, never reporting anything to anybody, and then disappearing off the face of the earth.
Yep.
And I guess because of that, he got like it was a soft cancellation. I can't believe I'm saying something like that, but it was like they couldn't go out and fully cancel him because they didn't have enough to cancel him with. But because of this one day of weird shit, which like was completely, I mean, theoretically, somebody could open up an account that's complete bullshit, post a bunch of bullshit things and run away and disappear. What do you do with that? You know what I mean? On the flip side, there has to be like a burden of proof that you have to prove something. You can't just write a bunch of shit and run away. Do you get what I'm saying, Professor?
Yeah. And then there were I guess there was a few other women, supposed women. All of this happened on social media. None of this was ever brought into court. No evidence was ever presented. Nothing happened.
No
Where
complaint.
no journalist ever published an article on any of this stuff, with any kind of evidence or any background, except that one lady apparently posted some screenshots that were allegedly of him soliciting her when she was 15 and he was 21. But then there was absolutely no proof that these were real.
Right,
All
that's
of
what
this
I'm
was
saying.
all just, this was all, the height of the Me Too, Believe All Women movement, where we started to see a lot of very bad behavior from people just trying to get out there and try and ruin men's lives by posting completely unverifiable nonsense.
I remember when this came out and I said the same thing, and just so you know, when I said it, during those days, especially, like, before Elon Musk took over Twitter, you'd say something and the biggest weirdos, maybe they're all on Blue Sky, would, like, jump up and start saying the worst things about me, where I just said, listen, this is really kind of fishy and unverifiable. You can't just ruin a person's life based on some weird shit that, like, from an account that nobody knows who this is. It's like, I don't know if to call it an egghead. Do you get what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you need more than some shit that nobody knows what this is. If some kid in his basement could create this account, write this thing and run away, that you can't ruin a person's life for that. It has to be something more substantial than that. And that's what I said at the time. But that guy, he had the West Side Story with Rachel Zegler. So I guess, maybe out of respect for Spielberg, who knows? They didn't destroy him in the press because they also, I guess, didn't have anything concrete to destroy it with. But trust me when I tell you that this guy got a lot less roles after that. He did
Well,
that
he's been on Tokyo Vice, I guess, for the past few years.
That
He
was
was
a
part of
show
that
that I think
cast.
was already in the works, and I guess they didn't cancel it. It
Mm.
found an audience. I guess they still let him be there. But just so you know, that after Baby Driver and Steven Spielberg choosing him, much like you saw Zegler then going to these kind of Snow White and all this stuff, he was supposed to be like a big deal. Was he also in Ready Player One, or am I confusing him with somebody else?
I think you're mixing that up with somebody else. Yeah.
Ansel Elgort, what movie was he in? I'm still telling you that he was considered, like, a big deal, and nobody will admit it, but there was something.
He was in the Divergent series of films.
And
Yeah.
then I guess what I'm saying is that guy, his career at least was diminished due to the whole situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I got there. I got there, because of that movie, Baby Driver. So
Mm.
Baby Driver had him in it, and it had Kevin Spacey. And nobody remembers this, but there was a woman who said that Jamie Foxx did something naughty, but that woman disappeared too. Honestly, when I think about it, that movie came out, and I don't know how many years later, how much time later, he was Me Too'd. So was Kevin Spacey, and so was Jamie Foxx. But really, if you think about it, nothing with Fox and with that Ansel guy, really nothing came out of it. It just kind of fizzled and disappeared. And with Kevin Spacey, there was more to it than that. But even in his case, nothing ever happened.
Yep.
I don't know what that says about that movement, Professor. Do you get like
Well,
three of them?
yeah. There was quite a bit of that going around, the Me Too stuff happening, and near the end, a lot of that started to fizzle out because now, there were a bunch of legit, very real allegations that did come forward, and that did actually, expose some people who needed to be exposed. Harvey H, or Harvey W, sorry. But at the same time, there was a bunch of stuff that was coming out that was not legit. It was women who were looking for the spotlight, that wanted attention, and they were out there saying some things that were very sketchy. Now, again, I'm not accusing any one particular person of lying.
I don't know
I'm
what booty
saying that
blasted means though, Whalem. What does it mean Fox got booty blasted? I'm not sure what I understand what that means.
Yep.
I
I
understand
mean,
that maybe that whole movement, there were some people that it exposed that maybe it's good that it did, but I would say that a very large portion of what happened there was absolute bullshit. Yes, there were some serious like offenders, and it's fine to shine a light on them, but I think that there were people that fell, fell victim to overzealous weird shit. You know,
yes.
in some cases there's people that until today, that don't show their faces and don't whatever, and when I think about it, I still am not convinced that whatever their situation was a big deal. Like, Dustin Hoffman, that one was a weird one.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was strange.
Dustin Hoffman, for me, I don't know why it annoys me so much because a lot of times the people that were complaining were people that had like, a bigger axe to grind. There was a lady that apparently she wrote a screenplay and she wanted Dustin Hoffman to produce her screenplay and act in her movie or something like that. She met him for coffee and another guy, and she talked about her idea. And then, according to her, I think that she said that Dustin Hoffman said that he's going to a store to go shopping. She wants to join him. And because the store was not far from his hotel, she understood that between the lines, according to her, what he meant was that either she comes to hotel and does naughty things with him, or he won't produce her movie. The only thing is, he never said that to her. So, if he never said that to her, him flirting with you, not flirting, I don't really know. You know what I mean? It sounds so vague. And then at the end, she's like, "You never even finance and produce my movie." He doesn't have to finance and produce your movie. You are some two-bit screenwriter that nobody gives a shit about. You ask for a meeting with him. Somebody set up for a meeting with him and his business partner. They talk to you. You try to pitch your idea. I guess they couldn't give a shit about it, or they mildly gave a shit, or I don't know what. And sometimes in life, you try to pitch something and maybe they don't give a shit and they don't want to do your movie. But that was, I think, the main basis for why Dustin Hoffman was canceled. And you know what? Sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. It is absolutely bullshit. Not to mention, he was bringing a story from like 30 years earlier. Come on, man. And until today, she was like bitter that her screenplay. What, he's going to spend millions of dollars to fund your stupid screenplay? He doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? And even like, at least if she would have said, he said, "Come to my hotel room and do X, Y, Z," or else, at least she can make that argument. She wasn't even saying that. So that was stupid. And then it was a two-parter. Do you know the other part of Dustin Hoffman? That was the 50%. Do you want to know the other part?
Oh, I don't think I ever heard the other one.
The other part is, I'm sorry, it's kind of off the top of my head. There was a lady that said that in 1974, I think it was, she was a personal assistant to him. And once they were in a trailer, and while they were in the trailer, he put her hand, according to her, his hand on her behind. Okay?
Oh, I guess I did hear this. Yeah, because
A-
I remember laughing hysterically that they thought that was going to be a sexual harassment suit they could win. That
And then I think she said to him, according to her, that she wants him to remove his hand. So he removed his hand
yep.
in 1974. So we had the 1974 hand on behind incident, supposedly, allegedly. I don't even know if that's a real incident, like the alleged hand on the behind 74 incident. And the lady that wanted him to spend millions of dollars funding and producing her screenplay, which he didn't do, and she claimed that it had something to do with his hotel room, with no evidence whatsoever, and not even clearly explaining that. So that for that, he was canceled. So yeah, a lot of that was bullshit, Professor. It was absolute bullshit.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I mean, Whalem03 said he probably never did that. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with the hand on the behind. I think that, I'm going to go out on a limb here. If it's like 2017 and you have to remember that in 1974, a guy may or may not have made some kind of advancement that you didn't want, and then he stopped and didn't do anything, I really, really don't think that is something, you know, You know what I'm saying, Professor? I think that was kind of lame.
Yep.
Hand on behind gate.
Hand on behind gate.
Hoffman was rude to Babs, case closed. I don't even fucking know. Oh, yeah. I think that once all that happened, Meryl Streep was like, "Oh, like he was so cruel to me on set or something." I don't know. They all started piling up on him. I'll tell you this: is it possible that Dustin Hoffman's an asshole? Is it possible that he's difficult to work with? Is he a jerk? It all could be possible. But with all that being said, I still think that when you say, "Okay, I want to ruin this person's legacy, life, career, everything, just ruin him," it has to be for a good reason. And speaking of good reason, I see you're scrolling with a Running Man.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna pop up some of the reviews there.
So, what was the grade that Rotten Tomatoes gave it, Professor?
If you looked at all critics, it's a 65 for 150 reviews. If you look, where does it let you look at top critics? Top critics 57%. So, popcorn meter. So they still don't have 50 verified ratings, Price. So there's no popcorn meter.
I'll tell you this, usually Rotten Tomatoes is full of shit. And in this one instance, I'll say that I think that this grade is not the worst reflection of what this movie is. It's a movie that, in my opinion, and I saw it today, it's a movie that you could tell that there's a director with style that directed it. There's a cast in it that's a legitimate cast. I think Glenn Powell is a good actor, and he takes the role seriously. I think that Josh Brolin, who has a role in this, is a good actor, and I think that his performance is one of the better ones in the movie. These are solid actors. I don't have any issue with their performances. The problem with this movie is that, and I said it today. We were on a stream with Robot Head, and I said it there, that the movie is somehow less than the sum of its parts. Sometimes you have like a band like the Beatles that you could argue that they're more than the sum of their parts. When it comes to this movie, it's less than the sum of its parts. There's a lot of stuff happening in it that on the surface, if you isolate it, you can say, well, that's pretty good. But somehow the mix of ingredients together just isn't strong enough. And I think that the movie, maybe it didn't understand what tone it wanted to go for. If it wanted to go for playful and satirical, it's not playful and satirical enough. If it wanted to be taken seriously, it's not serious enough, and there's issues with the writing and too many kind of plot holes and strange things that this scene happens and that scene happens, and it's sort of going from A to B to B to C to C to D with all that, and clinically going through the motions, but something about the way it connects isn't great. The storytelling somehow isn't great. And at the end of the day, instead of kind of connecting with this character, rooting for him, and really being on this journey with him as your hero, you kind of just sit there and you don't care. And that's the worst thing that can happen in a movie like this. And with all that being said, I've seen worse movies than this year. There have been really terrible movies this year. This isn't the worst one. It just feels like a movie that, given the people involved, given the talent and the caliber and the type of production and everything involved, this needed to be like a home run, or at least something that's like maybe not a home run, but a very, very good movie or whatever it is. It's not there. It's an okay movie. And that's really the disappointing part, because uh, I don't know. And we also talked about it on the stream that it wouldn't surprise me if the ending was reshot or something. It's funny because when I finished watching the movie, I was talking to Robot Head off stream, and I just said, "Hey, I didn't understand the ending because there's something that happens there that doesn't make sense to me, and I don't understand how the character went from this position to be in that position." And Robot had said to me, "I think it was a reshoot. I think that's not how they wanted to end the movie, because when I watched it, I was thinking the exact same thing." So I thought it was crazy, and something happened that was like went above my head and I didn't understand it. It turns out that it's not above anybody's head. It's just a matter that, they may have tried to tidy up that ending, because originally maybe it was more of a downer ending. So they ended up
Yeah.
going for like a more lighthearted ending. And man, does it feel strangely tagged on there.
Yeah, from what you guys were saying, it sounds like perhaps maybe originally they were going to go with the original ending of the book, which was that basically he's in a plane, he has a fight with the pilot, he gets shot, he's dying, and he angles the plane down into the building, the broadcast building, killing himself and killing Killian, the other guy, the head of the network or whatever. And that's the end, right? And it sounds like maybe they were just going to stick to that original book ending because they do have the plane and everything involved. But then he escapes in an airplane escape pod or something.
None of that made any fucking sense to me, Professor. It didn't make any sense. Sorry, Sean. I don't understand. I think he was supposed to die in the studio, and I give credit to Robot Ad for saying this. I think they didn't want it to end this way, and they're just like, shoot a different ending. It feels very weird. But you know what? I would be okay with all of this stuff. There's a rumor, for example. I don't know if this is true. Some people claim this rumor is not true. Some people claim that rumor is true. But the movie Pretty Woman initially, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong on this, I think initially the movie was supposed to end with Richard Gere going his own way and Julia Roberts doing whatever she does, but the audiences didn't like it, so then they filmed a scene where everything is wonderful. That's the rumor. And sometimes that happens in Hollywood. They look at the movie and they're like, there's no way you're leaving the audience like that, like all sad, leaving the theater. You better do something that makes us like more happy and not this like sad, miserable ending. It depends on a movie. Sometimes there's movies that they end sad, you know what I mean? But I guess Hollywood doesn't like a sad story, especially for like more of a crowd-pleasing movie. So whether it's a Pretty Woman type of movie or this thing, at the end of the day, they do the reshoot they need to make it look a little more pleasant at the end. But the problem is that it's not just the ending, it's that everything in this movie doesn't work the way it should. I said this also earlier. I think that a good movie, even one with a lot of action, needs to find moments that are a little quieter, moments that maybe somebody is hiding and you see a little more personal stuff going on and maybe a little more self-reflection, a little more character development. It's okay to stop with the action for a bit, to let the movie breathe. But this movie just feels like, okay, nonstop action. But it's not even like cool action. Like if you watch, let's say, Jason Statham movie, it's like a lot of action. It's action because he's annoyed and he's kicking everybody's asses, and that's fine. But this didn't even feel like that. And even then, like
Yeah.
some of those John Wick movies, the later ones, they feel like video games because they're just kind of action, and you always need a little bit of breathing space to let the story unfold. And I feel like this Running Man movie, it doesn't do it, and it's a real shame because I believe everybody involved could have done something better. We were talking about it earlier, maybe studio meddling too much in this one. There was a situation here. I told you that there were a few things that were sort of red flags for me. Not because, see, I'll say the red flags and I'll sound like a douche, but it's not for the reasons you think. Meaning, this guy, Glenn Powell, like his character had a wife, and she was a diverse woman. Now, there's no problem with him being in a relationship with a diverse woman. The only thing is that I felt that I wouldn't have paired these two actors together because I didn't feel the chemistry. I felt that it was chemistry more that somebody sat in a boardroom and wanted this type of diversity, but they didn't bother finding like an actor and actress that have like natural chemistry. I was giving the example of like Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard. You feel like that they have chemistry. You feel like they would like each other. That's the impression the movie gives. I didn't feel that in this case here. So it's not because the lady is diverse or he's not diverse. Something about them together, just I don't buy it.
Yeah, there just wasn't that chemistry. There wasn't a connection between them.
And I'll
that
tell you
believe.
another thing. He spoke like as if he came from more of a, I don't know if to say Texas, or he spoke like a guy that came from one place. She speaks like a woman that comes from a different type of place. And somehow the two together, I don't buy them. I don't know why, and I can't explain it to you. Something about that pairing didn't work for me. So that's one thing. And the other thing is there were supposed to be three dudes because it's called The Running Man, and they're supposed to be competing. And then one of them is a woman. And they chose the actress that you saw in Mandalorian and Quantum Mania and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And a few other,
that
other
one.
things.
Yeah.
I don't have anything personal against this actress. You know, I think she's a decent actress. She's not done anything bad. I'm not just like throwing her under the bus, and I'm not saying she can't get roles. I'm just saying that usually, and in this case, they're like, what if instead of a man we had a muscly woman? And then they're like, we got just a person. And I also said previously when we spoke, I
Yeah.
think that's the conversation. Anytime somebody says
Yeah.
anything, they want to bring somebody, they put her in there. But uh, I also felt this was another one of those decisions that probably came from some executive boardroom, like make sure his wife is diverse and blah blah blah. Make sure this woman is here, like that she's in the men, whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. Again, the actress that played his wife was fine. There was nothing wrong with her acting. She's not a bad actress. Same with this like lady, this Katie O'Brien, whatever her name is. She's not a terrible actress, and it's not that you can't give her a role or do whatever. But the fact that you have like, these things that are inserted into the movie that don't 100% feel like either the best casting choice or the most organic, start giving me the feeling that there was a lot of kind of studio meddling, that maybe they didn't let this guy do the movie that he wanted to make, but rather they came and like, messed around with it. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion about it. And in terms of the guys, I don't think I needed a muscle woman instead of a guy personally. That's my opinion. In terms of his wife, the diversity was no issue. It's just a matter of finding a woman that you feel has that chemistry with him. I don't think they found that right woman personally.
Yeah.
Is she is the new freckle Jesus from
The
Blood
new-
Origin?
oh no.
Oh yes, I
Oh,
guess
please
she's
no.
I guess I don't even know what to say, but yeah.
You know what? I'll take it though. I will take her, the tough lesbian chick, from Mandalorian. I'll take her in stuff over Freckle Jesus.
I will say this, and I told you this. I saw a small movie that was sort of an indie that Scarlett Johansson directed. It's a very, very small, you could tell that it cost like $5 to make indie. One of the actresses in the movie is that Willow girl, and it was the only time, I think to date, that they gave her a role that was somehow suitable for her. She played something that's similar to her in real life. She played sort of an angsty young lady who is actually an LG person, but that's not the main part of the story anyways. It's just something that, like, as an off the cuff comment somebody mentions, but it's not really. It doesn't really like the whole movie isn't. That's not what's driving it. And at the end of the day, this smaller movie that just needed a young lady, at a crossroad in her life, just doing something a lot more convincing than her being like, the leader of the Flag Smashers, or you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely, yeah.
It wasn't. Also in like Solo, she's like the leader of the army of the whatever, and in like Willow, she's the leader of the bullshit of the army knights of the knights or whatever it is. Instead of making her the leader of the X in some kind of weird science fiction thing where she, like, instead of hiring a guy that's like in his 30s and muscly, they bring her there, which is those other roles. In this case, hiring sort of an angsty young lady with issues, I thought that she was fine for it. Meaning, if you actually cast her in roles like that in these type of productions, in something like that, she would have been fine. If you would have never seen her in those other movies and you would have seen her in this indie thing acting the way she acted, I think like nobody would have had a bad word to say about her. Unfortunately for her, she was given roles that were absolutely wrong for her, and I don't know if after the quote unquote freckle Jesus or whatever you want to call it, if she'll ever be able to bounce back from it.
Yeah,
That's all I'll say.
she's yeah, maybe she is a good actress. Maybe she's a kind person. I don't know. All
No,
I
I mean,
know is that everything that I've seen her in, she's terrible.
I
And
think she was awfully miscast. The person that's the
yeah,
leader of the Flag Smashers cannot be that young lady. That is so stupid. I don't want to use the R word here, but it's very, very stupid. In addition, in Solo, equally dumb. Where else what was the third one? Willow. All of these things were so shitty. They were such shitty places to put her. I do feel a bit, I don't want to say I feel a bit bad for her, but at the end of the day, we see these movies and there's these young actors and actresses. They didn't cast themselves in this. Somebody came and said, "Oh, you'd be great for this role." Whoever said that, they're the people that are really stupid. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sometimes an actor doesn't need to be in certain roles. Not every role is right for every actor. Like if if you were making a movie now and you needed somebody to play like the top barber at a fancy salon, I don't think you could cast me in that role. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you made that movie and somebody's expecting kind of a very specific, very flamboyant type of guy that's like, cutting hair and doing this whole kind of barber thing, and you turn on the movie and I'm playing that character, people are gonna look and
Yeah.
say, "Why the fuck is that guy playing that character?" I don't buy it at all. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm
Yep.
even like I wouldn't even call myself an actor or a good actor or anything, but if you turn on the thing and I did that, that would be 100% miscast. Uh, the same way that if you were doing now like, a romantic comedy, uh, you know, and you cast Joe Pesci, opposite I'm trying to think of
Now I
something.
want to see this movie, Joe
A
Pesci in the
romantic
romantic
comedy
comedy.
with Joe Pesci and Selma Hayek. You know what? Joe
Yep.
Pesci would probably knock it out of the park. Forget I said that. I want to see that movie now. uh, uh, Six said she could have said no to the role. When you're a young actress and they're saying you can be in a Star Wars, you can be in an MC, you can be in this, you would have to be an idiot to say no. I mean, I'm telling you honestly, if Bob Iger walked into where I'm streaming right now, came with a suitcase of cash with millions of dollars and said to me, "Listen, you're going to be the leader of the Flag Smashers." I'd say, "No problem, Bobby. Where do we go? Let's go now. Where do I begin?" You know what I'm saying? What the fuck do I care? So you'll watch it and say like, "Who is this bum and why did he get cast in the role?" Meanwhile, I'm going to be sitting on an island with a bunch of like, the thing where they like throw grapes in your mouth, do
Oh
the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
where I'm gonna be doing that, and you can all make videos and say that I'm the biggest. Like, it'll be like a meme of how much of an idiot I am. But I'll have millions of dollars that'll comfort me as I look, and I'm like the stupidest meme on the internet. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's worth it for the money. By the way, hi Six, nice to see you here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna do something naughty that I'm probably going to regret. 1 second. Give me 1 second,
Yeah.
Professor.
By the way, earlier you were talking about Pretty Woman. Yeah, I've also seen that story before about how the original script was much darker. Not that I care about Pretty Woman or how that particular script turned out. It's not a film that I really care that much about, but I had seen that story all about how the originally basically, uh, who is it? The main character, the male character, that Richard Gere's character basically, at the end of the film, instead of like saving her and whisking her off to this new life, like he literally kicks her out of the car, throws her a bundle of cash, and ditches her in a dirty alley.
Right.
And then like the end of the movie originally was like her on a bus with her friend like headed to Disneyland, but her like staring out the window like, where like this is her life now. This is she's never going to amount to anything. And it's like this incredibly dark ending. And I guess that Julia Roberts in fact was not even interested in taking the movie on at one point because this script was so dark. Had such a just terrible, serious ending to it. And like that's really funny that like, yeah, originally like, oh, this, Richard Gere that raises this prostitute up and brings her into this life and then whisks her away, in this fairy tale ending. Yeah, originally he just threw her some cash and told her to get lost. That was the ending of the movie. It's
Six
great.
says, Pretty Woman is a great movie teaching young women all over the world that selling their so on Hollywood Boulevard will lead to your Prince Charming.
Yeah.
That is 100% true.
Real masterpiece.
And let's see for a second. So yeah, so Running Man. Back to Running Man. Well, I guess I said what I thought about it. I don't really know what more to say.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a movie, and I think that Robot had said it, and I agree with him. It's something that, like, if you're itching to see a movie in the theater, and you're like, I'm going to the theater now, I don't care, I'm going to see a movie, and this is the movie that's playing, at least when it comes to this weekend, it's all right. It's watchable. It's not like, you're not going to come out of this thinking, wow, I just watched a masterpiece. At least I don't think so. I think at best you're going to be like, well, that was just like an okay movie. That's going to be the general feeling. Not enough to make this thing a hit, in my opinion. Unless I am not reading the situation correctly, I don't think that this is going to cause the type of excitement that people want. And you know what? Maybe it's time people stopped remaking movies over and over again. I think that it's time that Hollywood went back to trying to either bring adaptations that we haven't seen on the screen to the screen, meaning something new, something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that I think Hollywood needs to go for more originality. We talk about movies. We recently were talking about like 1987. In 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I'm not mistaken, he starred in Predator and he starred in The Running Man. Uh, what year did RoboCop come out? Do you remember?
Oh,
1987.
it was
Can you
87. Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine that in the same year you had like RoboCop, Predator, The Running Man? I'm trying to think, and that's probably the tip of the iceberg. But
Oh
like
yeah.
RoboCop
It
was
was a
something
hell of a
completely
year.
different.
Yeah.
What else did 1987 movie
97.
have?
We had Beverly Hills Cop 2, Fatal Attraction. Let's see. Good Morning Vietnam, The Untouchables,
Oh, The
The
Untouchables,
First
man.
Lethal Weapon.
Oh
Uh,
man.
yeah.
I think The Lost Boys from 1987. Yeah, The Lost Boys.
Yep.
It was just like so much swinging for the fences. Maybe some movies didn't work out well. I think that at the time, we look at movies. I think that same year you have Ishtar, and things like that. So maybe not everything. You sometimes have a movie that was like a stinker or whatever you want to call it. But what I'll say is that they really swung for the fences and tried different ideas, and that's what I liked.
Yeah.
And I don't think we get that today. Back then, it was a good mix of different, genres, different styles, different type of movies, a lot of risk taking, and we don't get that today. We don't get that creativity. We don't get people trying to take swings and do different things. And at the end, you could say, well, they want to go for safe, whatever, but they're going for safe, and it's not helping them. It would have been better instead of making like you know, 5 big movies that cost $300 million each, if each of those companies that do that, if a company that's willing to spend $300 million in a movie, instead of that makes 10 movies for $30 million, I think we're going to get a lot more quality stuff. And I think that at the end, they have a bigger chance of maybe, I could be wrong, but I think that they have a bigger chance of actually building something, doing something refreshing, and maybe turning a profit if they actually take talented people with real vision, let them work their way up, let them start with smaller productions and work their way up. A lot of times we see that with, I don't know if it was Spielberg or something with Jaws. I don't think for Spielberg and Jaws they gave him like the world when it comes to a budget. They
No,
gave
they
him the
didn't.
budget, but it wasn't like they didn't say take like a gazillion dollars to make it. But after he made that one, they're like, okay, well, let's give him a little more money and maybe this guy can do something. You build that kind of credit. But today they don't build the credit. They're just like, here, you made an indie movie that 5 people watched. Why don't you take $300 million and make an MCU movie? And then they're like, hey, we can't believe that it sucks. Like they look at sometimes it's not completely their fault because they also fall into the system of like the Marvel Kevin Feige system. But when I look at like Chloe Zhao, she made a movie about like a woman that lived in a trash can next to a trailer or something that cost like $5 to make and 3 people watched. And yes, somebody gave her an award, But those awards don't mean anything. That's not the kind of thing that you're like, she made a movie with the trash can and the lady. Yeah, that doesn't mean she's going to make a good MCU movie. The
No.
fact that you thought that you would give her hundreds of millions of dollars to make a good MCU movie means that you're stupid. Sorry, I know that I'm not trying to personally attack Kevin Feige, but he was the person that hired her.
Yep. Yep.
30 million budget is enough for talented people. I'll tell you something. A lot of times when you don't have the money, when you don't have all this kind of unlimited budget, that's when you need to get creative. I always like it when I think about Halloween with John Carpenter. That is a movie that I enjoyed watching the behind the scenes of how they made that movie almost as much as watching the movie itself. This is a group of friends that for like a few dollars made something iconic. Like
Yeah.
there's some things that they're like, oh, you see this scene, like even the guy that plays like Michael Myers, it's a guy that was like his friend that he's like, I'm gonna leave now, like I'm gonna go somewhere else. I don't think there's something for me to do here. And he's like, no, stay. We'll find something for you to do. Oh, like you can stand here and you could be Michael Myers. Then like they need the mask for Michael Myers. They're like, what are we gonna do? So one of them goes to like the local shop. This is while they're filming the movie.
Yeah.
One of them goes to a local shop and found a James T. Kirk mask,
Yeah.
and they like spray painted it white and cut the eyes like bigger, and they're like, wow, look at this, is so spooky, like how great is this? It's like all stuff that, you know, they're shoestring, like it's the shoestring of the shoestring, whatever happened in that movie, where they're conjuring up things and doing whatever, and at the end you watch it and that movie works. It works until this day. I think it's a good movie. It is
Yeah.
just really, and the fact that like also this is such a kind of tight-knit crew of people that I think some of them ended up getting married and all this stuff, and you see that this is like a group of friends, and they also explain something. There's like one part where like a window breaks and it's like Mike Myers. Then they explain how they did this with like a hammer and all this stuff. It's all so kind of like almost like guerrilla filming this thing. It's such a underground movie, and like they ended up like reviving an entire genre with like $5. That's what inspires me. That's the kind of stories we used to see in cinema. And in the past, they used to take like money and they used to give these kind of directors and let them do it. I don't know. They have to have a program like this. Just, you know what? A company like Disney, if they were smart, instead of making 10 movies for $300 million that are shit, make 9 and take $300 million just for one of those movies. Don't make them. You know what I'm saying? Don't make Captain Falcon Brave New World.
Yeah.
Don't make that movie.
Ugh.
Don't make that movie. Don't make it. Take the money and say, I'm giving it to 10 people. Just do an experiment. Choose 10 people and please don't choose them because of like identity politics and weird shit. Whoever, I don't care who wrote it. It could be anybody for any walk of life, but the screenplay has to be good and it has to be to people of talent. Not people of X, Y, and Z, but people of talent. That's what it needs to be. And if they are people of X, Y, Z, fine. But I'm just saying, choose good projects, actual screenplays, evaluate $30 million for each, like for 10 people, see what they can put together. If they were a serious company, that's what they do. Instead, what do they do? What do they do? A Brave New World. Didn't they spend like $500 million on that? Do you understand what you could do with like $500 million? It is so embarrassing. So embarrassing that they
Oh yeah.
threw $500 million
It's
in
pathetic,
unwatchable
really. Yeah,
turd.
to
Yeah.
create these, and then it's gonna get worse, Bryce. It's gonna get worse. We are getting this, we're getting the Doomsday, and then behind that, we're getting Secret Wars in the MCU. Together, those two movies, it sounds like that's probably gonna cost them $1.5 billion to produce those two films.
Disgrace.
Unbelievable.
They're not gonna
Absolutely
make their money
unbelievable.
back.
Oh, no way. No, they're gonna lose so much money. I really don't think that Doomsday has even a chance of even beating what Superman made in the theaters this year. It's gonna be same thing. Like it's gonna be like in the 600s in there. They think they're gonna do them. They think that this Doomsday movie is gonna make them $1.5 billion for the first one, and it's not. People don't care about the MCU anymore. They don't, and they're not going to come back for a bunch of 5-minute cameos to watch their favorite characters get killed off. They're not going to do it. And so yeah, the budgets are absolutely out of control. It's insane how much money they're spending on these films. They've got to stop. They've got to find a balance. They've got to find ways to make films. We had announced that that they're making the sequel to Godzilla -1. Right? We're getting Godzilla -0.0 or whatever. I would imagine that their budget for that is probably going to be pretty similar to the budget they had last time. I'm sure they're going to get a little bit more, given that last movie was, very, very successful. But I bet they still make that movie with a similar crew, small little group doing all the effects and filming, and then they're going to have, maybe 20 million this time, 25. And they're not gonna say, "Oh, well, the last movie was huge." Instead, let's make this for 200 million, right? Because they were able to make a perfectly good film. It did well, was well received in the theaters, both domestically in Japan as well as did well over here in the U.S. and a lot of other countries as well. Yeah, uh, why would you spend any more? You don't need to. It's ridiculous. And yeah, with AI coming right around the corner now, it's a lot of these companies are facing the fact that they're going to be able to, or they're going to have to, not be able to, they're going to have to compete with people who are out there using these AI models to generate movies for pennies on the dollar of what they're spending on films. So yeah, it's going to be wild. But yeah, the budget's completely out of control.
Absolutely. So yeah, somebody who said Blair Witch Project original budget $60K.
Yeah, like
I will
60 grand.
I will say this though, and this is a confession, Professor. I don't really like the Blair Witch Project.
Neither do I.
I
I had some friends that convinced me. They're like, even though I told them, like, I don't really care for horror. They're like, no, this is a whole new thing. It's totally different. It's this found footage. It's amazing. You've never seen a movie like this. And then I just kept watching it going, and when does it get good?
I'm going to tell you a secret, Professor. I don't like found footage. I don't like that whole concept. It's like, isn't
Nope.
it cool that it comes from a video and it looks like shit? No, it's not cool. Fuck you. Sorry. I'm sorry, Sean.
No, it's fine. Yeah, you're right. It's hilarious.
Also, the thing that they're like, look, it's a security camera. The whole movie, it's like from a security camera in this person's home. It's like, leave me the fuck alone. I want to see real cameras filming a real movie. If it's not something cool that like somebody made a movie, that found footage thing is not for me because I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
It looks like dumb shit to me, Professor. I
Yeah.
know
Well,
that's my pet peeve.
that's most horror movies to me. I look at them and I just like I just couldn't care less. They're especially down there with the like Sinister, whatever, somebody like where they're always like we watched this security camera footage. Oh look, the blanket moves a little bit. Oh, or isn't all your hair standing on end? Oh, and then they play creepy ass music over like video of somebody standing there for 4 hours not moving. Oh, it's so creepy. It's like, could you just not? Can we anything else? You got anything here? Like that it's okay. It's look, they're not acting like the way that people would act. It's scary. No, it's just dumb. Like move on. Let's do
The thing
something
is,
else.
I respect that people had $5 and still wanted to make something. It just doesn't work on me. Now, I will say this. I'm not exactly on the same page as you as that like yeah, there's certain situations that even if it's a bit horror, I can appreciate it if there's some good ideas there. I'm open-minded to it. I don't hate the genre or hate the idea, but more often than not whatever I see is just, I'll put it this way. And this I kind of agree with you. If horror isn't done well, the difference between you actually being into it and thinking, wow, this is kind of cool, and between you saying, man, this is a joke and it's really bad and awful, it can very quickly shift from one to the other. If whoever is doing it is not skilled and doesn't know what he's doing, very quickly it can go to this is dumb very quickly. But I won't say that they're all dumb. Sometimes I see movies that I think, okay, this is pretty interesting. Like when I saw Weapons, I thought that was a pretty cool movie. I liked Weapons. Thought that was a good movie. It was a bit different. It wasn't all your traditional, horror thing. It had a little more depth to it. It was almost a bit science fiction-y or something like that. I didn't mind it. So sometimes you have ideas that I like, but it's just, I think more often than not, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But I
It
have more
seems like
patience than you, Professor.
yeah, well, it seems like in most horror films, like every character is just the stupidest version of themselves. Like everyone is just making the worst possible decisions at every moment that they're presented. Just like they've showed making fun of horror movies in different the commercials. It was a Geico commercial, right? Where the teenagers are like, shouldn't we take the running car and escape? No, let's hide in this garage full of knives and chainsaws.
Right. A lot of people do stupid things, that's true. Uh, Wait a second, what else was on our docket today?
Let's see. There was we had mentioned uh Brainiac was in there. We had also mentioned something about, or maybe we were talking about that earlier about everyone being upset about Brie Larson being part of the new.
Okay. Let's start with that. Let's start with the Brie Larson thing.
I don't, man, I don't get it. Why everyone's so upset with Brie Larson being in the new Mario film.
So there was something, what was it? It was Grace Randolph, I guess, said something which surprised me because I thought she loves feminism or whatever it is. So why would she say something?
Yeah, yeah. The new movie is going to be bringing the Super Mario Galaxy. By the way, is going to be the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie. Chris Pratt is returning to voice Mario. Jack Black is returning to voice Bowser. Unfortunately, although he was not the worst part of the voice acting in that first movie. The worst part of the voice acting in that first movie was Seth Rogen. Oh, good Lord. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Just awful. But now people are getting a little upset about potentially, bringing Brie Larson in to be the voice of Rosalina for the new Mario Galaxy movie. And uh, I just don't get it. Other than, are they upset because she said some negative things about white men before? Are we going back to
Yeah,
that thing or
I,
what?
I think I have a feeling, and this is my own personal opinion. I feel like Brie Larson, I could be wrong here, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I feel like she has matured a bit from the days of her blabbing of that nonsense. In more recent years, when people ask her these hot topic questions, most of the time it looks like she just tries to avoid it. Uh, I feel like it doesn't mean she's a good person. Maybe deep down she's still annoying and whatever it is. But I do feel, I maybe falsely, I feel like after a string of failures and things that didn't work out well for her, and the negative, sentiment surrounding her and all that, I feel like these days she kind of just does whatever she's supposed to do and doesn't do a lot more beyond that. And you know what? You may not believe this, Professor, but I'm a rather forgiving man. And yeah, you know what? I'm willing to try to give her another chance in terms of, put behind us those weird comments from years ago. And it doesn't mean I'm going to run to see her movies or really give a shit about her. But in a movie that just people are doing voices and doing some voice, I mean, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Personally, that's my opinion. I listen. She's not the worst actress. I'm sure she can read some stupid voice into a microphone. I'm sure she could pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't have any like hard feelings against her,
No,
and I don't
I
really.
don't. I guess I am a little confused that does she really have a very distinctive voice? Is she has she done voice acting before? Or I mean, is it just a stunt casting thing to just
It's
bring in what
probably
they
like,
thought was
either
the
a stunt casting or whatever.
popular
Listen,
name?
I actually think
Yeah.
I don't know what she's gonna do with this role here, but I will say this, and I'm surprised that I'm saying this because especially during those days that she said those things, I was very, happy to criticize her. It's not that I'm sitting around, some numero uno Brie Larson fan, but I will say this, there was a movie that came out, I don't remember where Michael B. Jordan is like, I think it's a period piece. He's a lawyer for somebody in the South who's suffering from some kind of thing that people suffered from in the South, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And she plays some kind of secretary of sorts. And when I watched that movie, and it was a movie that wasn't expecting her to like be like the biggest star in the world, it just had some kind of character actress role. I watched it and I said, you know what? When you don't put that type of responsibility of like, oh, this lady has to carry a franchise, and you just give her some kind of character actress role, and it wasn't even, I think, the lead thing, I thought she was fine. I honestly, I watched it and I thought she's fine in this. She's not doing anything bad. This is in her wheelhouse. So, I think that to do a character actress and maybe to read a role and do something, she could probably do that. I I could be wrong. Maybe we'll hear it and it'll be like the worst voice anybody ever did. But you know what? I feel like it's probably enough in her wheelhouse that she could probably do it. And yeah, you're watching it. So what? So she's gonna voice some character. I think people shouldn't lose sleep about. You said it yourself. Jack Black is in there doing his thing. Like Seth Rogen. If we can put up with those guys, I don't think that she's my biggest issue.
Yeah.
And I really hope for her. I'm not a hater. Okay,
Yeah.
that may be not true. That's not true. I try not to be a hater, Professor, and I'm just saying that I'm a very forgiving person, and I'm willing to forgive Brie Larson. That's my bottom line here. I am a very forgiving man.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice thing for at least, for her, for Brie, she's known to, kind of be a fan of video games. I would say it's a stretch to call her a gamer, but
Yeah, we
she
we
has
already
done
saw that she
some.
wasn't much of a gamer.
Yeah, we see, she did some streams and stuff, her playing games and stuff like that. But she does enjoy, a number of Nintendo properties. She's talked about being a fan of Nintendo and how much time she spends, like, playing some stuff on her Switch. She's been seen publicly. I think she was wearing a T-shirt or something that was for the Animal Crossing games. And so people were kind of laughing about that. But she's kind of a fan of Nintendo, so I think, it's like, okay, cool. I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you. Whatever. I just want to know that she's going to do a good job because there's something personally. I'm a huge fan of animation. Have been my whole life. I love a lot of the adult animation projects that have been made, and the whole voice acting community. I really respect them, and I love a lot of those performers and the work that they've done in so many different cartoons and anime and all this stuff. And it kind of irritates me when they're just bringing in some actress, some actor because they have a big name to come in and do voiceover work when they're not all that good at it. You know what I mean? Like, I would have preferred that they hired an actual voice actor, someone who has the talent and knows the work to come in and do that, right? Uh, that bugs me. It bugged me when they were like, "Oh, we're hiring Chris Pratt instead of, hiring, a real voice actor." But I mean, they're fine, but there's a whole lot of people out there. They don't typically get big movies. They're not movie stars. Their bread and butter is their voice, and replacing them with stars so that they can, or, well, as close as we have stars anymore. You know what I mean? But replacing them with people that they think are going to be a draw always kind of irritates me.
I
So,
could do voice acting. You know that? I think that
no,
I could.
sure.
If you need like a douchey character in a cartoon, I think that I can pull this off, Professor. I don't
There
know
you go.
why, but I feel like that's the one thing that I could pull off.
I
We'll
think you
never
can make
know
it
though,
work,
because
Chris.
I don't really think Bobby Iger is going to show up with a suitcase. But if he shows up and he says you're going to be the voice of, I don't know what would I be the voice of?
A trash talking squid. I don't know.
I could totally do it.
Yep. You could make that work.
I could make it work. Caleb Levine says Brie has very beautiful feet. She actually doesn't. The
She
thing
does
is,
not.
the thing is, it's not like she's not a bad looking lady, but I don't know what it is with the feet that I wouldn't have noticed it, but people were like sharing it. It's not her strongest suit.
Not at all.
Place of Reason Calamari, douchey man. That's what they need in the movie.
Yeah, you need a part in the next Zootopia film, Zootopia 3.
But don't they use their body movements like Robin Williams and Aladdin? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be good for that.
Sometimes they do, not always.
Yeah, I don't think that I'd be good for their modeling, but I could do the voice if they needed. I mean, sometimes I look at those movies, like you hear Seth Rogen talking about. I don't think they're taking their face. I think they're just like, he needs this stupid voice, and then they just and then they have some like creature talking like that. Yeah. I will say it, and I've said it before. I once met Seth Rogen, and he went like he did that in real life.
Yep.
Like whenever you see like like the snorting and like whatever it is, he did all of that. And I only talked to him for like a few minutes. All of it within the few minutes. Every single thing you can think of, like I got within those few minutes. And in my humble opinion, he was a douche, a bigger douche than me.
Even a bigger douche than
he was such a douche that I saw him and I'm like, man, this guy's a douche. It's true though. It's all true. And okay. So there was the final thing that we were talking about. I don't know what Grace Randolph's problem is. She is kind of a strange person, Grace Randolph, and let's leave it at that.
I sometimes I wonder, how her medications are going and if she's taking too much or not enough. Yeah, she's an interesting character.
So yeah, let's see what else do we have. There was something about James Gunn and Brainiac. So let's see if I can find it. Sorry about that, Professor.
Oh, that's all right.
Brainiac.
That's all right.
Let's see.
Adam Gray says, "When I grow up, I want to be Chris Stuckman." No, you don't.
James Gunn reveals that Brainiac will be Baby Joey from the future in Man of Tomorrow.
Oh wow, really?
Does that make any sense?
Well, you remember Baby Joey? That was
remind me.
Okay, so remember he has to rescue Metamorpho or Element Man, whatever they call him in the movie. He has to rescue his son. His son is being held. That's Baby Joey. So he's saying that Baby Joey is somehow going to become Brainiac.
I barely even remember that whole baby
He's going to
thing,
come
but
back
now that
from
you
the
mentioned it, I remember.
future. He'll come back from the future to be their version of Brainiac.
I don't know if
That
this is true.
sounds.
Let me look for a second. Let me look.
That sounds
Right-
freaking awful. That's so
Let's see.
stupid.
Let's see. Maybe it's this guy is just a rumor. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe that's just a rumor. I don't want to say
could
that
be.
if we
Could
don't
be.
know.
That's from the article at the Wrap. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, but I couldn't find that article. I don't know if this is some kind of hoax or something. I saw somebody else claiming it, but I don't really know. Via the Wrap. Okay. Let's see where the Wrap. Where is this stupid Wrap article? Okay, Brainiac. The rap. Here, it's this one. Share this tab instead. Let's see. Do you see something about Baby Joey?
It's
I don't see it.
begun. Okay. No.
I can't find it. I don't know. I can't find that
See.
they're saying Baby Joey. I feel like somebody was taking creative liberty.
Let's see.
I don't see it in this article.
There's nothing, and I'm doing a word search here. I don't see anything.
I don't find
about
it either. I
Baby
feel like this
Joey in this
whoever wrote
article.
that was some kind of shit starter. I don't think that's it could be still him, but I just don't think so.
Let's see. Just kind of scanning through here. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff about how Brainiac, what's the background of Brainiac? How did he become a main villain? Let's see. I'm looking here.
I mean, listen, none of this is a surprise. The second that we saw Man of Tomorrow and the way Superman and Lex Luthor were standing next to each other, it was pretty clear that they would have to team up against somebody. And based on the fact that there was also a screenplay with a brain on it, I thought this was pretty much like very obvious that it would be Brainiac. The other thing is that James Gunn is trying to create some kind of excitement. Don't forget that like he's kind of in the hot seat. He's trying to now he's saying, well, it's a movie where it's Superman, Lex Luthor, Brainiac. He's also going to say, oh, it's going to tie into Supergirl and Peacemaker. He's trying to conjure up some kind of like a shared universe of sorts and like bring all the different audiences, whatever little audiences he has, like together and make this like a big event. Will it work? Who knows? I don't really know. I until now he hasn't done a good job. I don't know if the tide can turn somehow for him, but at this moment in time, based on what he's done until now, he's not on a great path. But sometimes strange miracles happen, but he's not convinced me until now.
Yeah. I would give the next movie a chance, but yeah, it's definitely not something that's got me excited. His take on Superman for the first outing was not something I particularly enjoyed. So, yeah, and as Caravaggio in the YouTube chat said, Brainiac is a super intelligence, perfect for a gun script. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's the problem. If to write a really smart villain, you have to actually have really smart writers, and yeah, that might not work out so well.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I'm not This isn't a surprise to me. I think that basically also James Gunn, who's been in the hot seat, is always looking for reasons now to generate some positive buzz for himself. He's kind of been getting clobbered online in the press. I've been feeling a lot of like shills lining up for him and a lot of PR and a lot of whatever recently. And this is really to combat all these rumors that Warner Brothers is being sold, that his job is in jeopardy, and that his whole DCU is on the line. I believe that all of that is true, that it is on the line and he is in jeopardy. But from his perspective, he has a contract until the end of 2026, and he's going to continue to just announce projects and try to create hype and buzz. And time will tell if he can deliver something worthy or not. But right now, until now, he's like 0 for 3. His next tests will be, I believe, his next real test. He has Supergirl, I think, is his next test.
Yep, that's the one that's already finished filming. They're in post production.
And imagine that's coming out in the summer of 2026.
This
and
coming
until
year,
then, he
yeah.
has nothing. He has nothing going on until then. Just a bunch of shit. Clayface is like at the end of 2026. Lanterns at the end of 2026. I
Oh,
feel like
maybe. It sounds like maybe Lanterns has been delayed.
yeah, Lanterns
So,
is
yeah.
at the end of it was supposed to be at the beginning of
Yeah,
2026.
you're right, you're right. It
Now it's
was
at the
supposed
end
to
of
be. Yeah.
2026.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong. James Gunn is hoping that things like Lanterns and Clayface will be good. I don't know what he's thinking about Supergirl, but he's hoping that by the time it comes around to 2026 at the end, whoever owns Warner Brothers will let him complete these projects, look at them and be like, "Man, you're so great. We want to see more of that." That would only work if those projects are critically acclaimed, get Nielsen ratings if it's a series, or dominate the box office. I've told you this before. I try not to underestimate people. You never know. Until now, though, James Gunn has not been on a good path. I don't know if that'll change. I don't know if suddenly he'll course correct and be able to understand his mistakes and change them. If he just continues to be James Gunn, then doing his James Gunn thing, I don't know if it's going to help him. And there could be a sale where somebody just comes in and decides to get rid of him altogether, not even caring about any of this. Like Paramount, when Skydance took over Paramount and David Ellison came in there, they told him there was a prequel series for Dexter that was already in production for the second season, which was greenlit and moving forward. And you know what he did?
Mm-hmm.
He canceled it. He's like, "No, this is stupid. We're not doing it.
Yeah.
Fuck that." And then they
Yeah.
canceled it. They had already renewed it. And were working on it. They're like, "Nope, fuck that. Don't want this show. Screw that." So it was gone. Taylor Sheridan, their big golden goose, whatever. He shows up. Had a meeting with Taylor Sheridan, had a conversation with him. The second Taylor Sheridan walks out of his office, he says, "You know what? I don't want to renew that guy's contract. I don't like the cut of his jib." Imagine that's the guy that's now running things. So James Gunn, statistically speaking, even if he was good at what he did, which I don't think he is, he could stroll into a conversation with this David Ellison guy and find himself 5 minutes later out of a job. Do I know exactly how it's going to play out? I don't know. Maybe he'll give him a chance to finish his contract. Maybe you let him wrap up his project. Maybe he won't. But there's a reason why James Gunn is stressed. Also a reason, I say this again. I know some people like him and some people don't like him. I'm sort of in the middle when it comes to this kind of thing. But I will say this. Zack Snyder is a good politician. He knows to capitalize when there's a chaotic mess in management.
Uh-huh.
When there was the AT&T takeover of Warner Brothers, he managed to get them to give him money to do the Snyder Cut. He pulled that off. Even if you don't like him, he pulled that off. He is good when there's chaos and mayhem, and he's going to continue to share his pictures and do all this stuff. He's going to try to dig and get somebody to give him a chance to do some kind of DCU movie. And as I always say, as opposed to what some people think, I don't have anything against him if you give him a good screenplay. As long as Zack Snyder doesn't write a screenplay, somebody gives him the screenplay, and there's a production team that keep things on a tight pace and some kind of creative input. I just think sometimes creative people need some kind of limitation or scope of what they could do. With the right production around him and the right screenplay, I think Zack Snyder can direct a decent movie. But if it's like him writing the screenplay and doing his weird overindulgent stuff, that
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be as good.
He needs a solid screenplay. He needs some really good, some really solid ideas to work off of. Maybe, I don't know. When he was working out of 300 or Watchmen, where
Those were fine.
he had a template for how he was going to build this story. And he sort of had a roadmap along the way for how he wanted to shoot it, how he wanted to make different parts of the movie fit together. Those worked well. Watchmen didn't hit as well as a lot of people had hoped it would, but overall, I thought it was pretty well done.
I actually think
enjoyed
that's
it.
maybe his best movie. I don't hate Watchmen. I actually think that proves that he's not
Yeah.
not terrible. I don't hate what he does in that thing. Like I said, I think if you give him a good screenplay and you put producers around him, that he can't do 70 slow motion shots and weird things, but somebody
Yeah.
says to him, "Hey, Zach, you got to get things moving here." I sometimes you can be a decent director and you still need some input from people around you. Now, I've said it before, I'm not suggesting that Zack Snyder is anywhere like near the league of a George Lucas, but I'm saying that even George Lucas, who I rate very highly when it comes to his vision, I think that George Lucas, his best results were when there were people around him that did a bit of challenging, that pushed back on some of the ideas, that said, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? He could ultimately decide what he wanted to do, but at least he let people speak and listen to a few ideas. And I think he was better for it. He was a better producer and director when he at least paid attention to some people around him, had a little more brainstorming, let people have a little more creative input. Again, he's the top boss at the end, but being open minded and listening to people wasn't necessarily a bad thing. When you look at the prequels, one of the reasons that he had an issue was because nobody was willing to say anything bad to him. At that point, he was the big George Lucas. Nobody wanted to say a word. He said something, and they all told him he was the best.
Yep.
And that kind of bad lesson, Hollywood today does that too many times. They have a guy that made a few decent movies. They're like, oh, maybe he can do everything. He can write and then do all this stuff, and like he's this big auteur, and he can do all these like pan shots and tracking shots and weird slow motion and whatever. It's like, no, a guy that does a decent job, it doesn't mean that you give him carte blanche to do whatever in the world that this person wants. So, yeah, again, I'm not suggesting, like, I still, obviously rate George Lucas much, much higher. George Lucas, like, his work on Star Wars, especially the original trilogy, it's hard to explain how brilliant, his ideas were there and his vision was there. So that's a different league. But I'm still just giving you the example that even somebody in that league could benefit from other people throwing some ideas around.
Sure.
Watchmen is good. Snyder didn't write it. He got handed a blueprint. Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that's fine.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're saying. Like, Snyder, first of all, I don't think he should have any hand in writing at all. I think he's a terrible writer. I don't think he understands how to create the plot. I don't think he knows how to create characters and actually allow them to have an arc throughout their story. He's just not good at that. And you know what? That's okay. We don't need all of our films to be made by auteurs who come in and do everything themselves. Oh, they produced it and they directed it and they wrote it and they starred in it and whatever. We don't need that, right? Just, if you've got somebody that's a gifted cinematographer, let them be a cinematographer. If you've got someone who's a great director, works with actors, can really get the performance out of them that we need, great. Have him come in and direct. Someone who's a really talented writer, someone who knows how to create the plots and design all of the different character arcs for the characters so that we get a compelling story. Great, let them write that. They don't have to direct, they don't have to do all the other stuff. Like, bring back this idea of letting different creators work together to make great films. The Godfather was not just one guy. Right? It was a
Right.
bunch of different people bringing a bunch of different talents to making that film. And this whole idea of this auteur, oh, we got to let this guy make his project that's all him. Like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, yeah. Oh, well, I don't know about you, Price. I think I am ready to say goodnight to a bunch of our friends here and head off into the sunset, or
That sounds fine to me.
into the night, or whatever it is.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right. So, I'll send you the list from Rumble here. And I'll get the list for YouTube together. All right. You still with me, Price?
I'm still with you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I sent you the list for.
Oh, Angelo DD, Bingo Hazmat, Elizabeth Quince, Phantom Monk, Sal the Hamster, Estephobos, Empress NM, Dude Bro, Seth 420, Cheers, Via Welt, and Darren Mai.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us over there on Rumble this evening. Let's see, over on YouTube, we've got Arturo, Alejandro Trevino, Adam Gray, Badfoot, Caleb Levine, Caravaggio, Darren M, David Costin, Dabion Donaldson, Ercole DiStefano, FKHC 2005, Inku, Ishmael, Istophobos, Jason Webster, Jonathan Conroy, Keely Chow, Marla Sharondoff, Mary White, 2.0, Nim, Raccoonius the Great, Ryan Lopez, Samsung, 6, Tex Rogers, The Dead Man, Tim Hayes, Toji, Tomahawk 511, Whalemo 3, Yitis, and Zune RJ5.
All right, Professor. If there's something you want to plug or talk about before we go, you can do that.
Well, we'll be joining Adam, Babs, and the rest of the B-roll crew on B-sides tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. And be watching The Terror from the year 5000. So we'll be hanging out, watching our movie together tomorrow night, hanging out, play some games afterwards. So hop by, join us, have a laugh, and enjoy a masterpiece of a film, as we always do. And then I'll be back here on Tuesday next week for the Night Owl, hanging out with you, Price.
Sounds good, man. So yeah, we'll see you all here on Tuesday at 11:45 p.m. Eastern, as we always do on the Night Owl. And I guess now that we've said our goodbyes to everybody, then we can sign off.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.